underway. All right. And with that, let's go ahead and open the select board meeting of February 9th. The time is 6:02. And we've got myself and Kenny here tonight, so we can get underway. We're going to start out with any public comments or communications we don't have today that might not be on the agenda. Yes, Roger.
Well, I have some comments concerning Dan's email that he sent
Yesterday.
yesterday.
Yes.
And speaking as an auditor, can I do that during public comment?
Yes, you can. Yeah.
So, and then at the answer, I give some the answer to these questions. The first thing I saw when I got the email was your responses to the auditor's report, which is great. It's always good to have feedback, but then I questioned some of your responses. And the one that stuck out the most was number 4, where we asked to provide supporting information for donate to the party. Participation at the coin drops. And your response was no request has been volunteer participants, a place or date of fundraising. It's true, but then you said no coin drops took place during the 24-25 fiscal year.
I recall putting money in at that time. So I'm wondering, like, it's right next door to my home, and I know how often I put in money when I drive by. So I'm pretty sure during that fiscal year I put money in a fundraiser. So.
Right, but then, you know, I always like to make sure our reports are accurate, because this report's not asking for anything this year or pointing anything out. You need to do now is kind of suggestions for next year. You know, their guidelines. So we did it with the town as well. But then your response here that there was no donation activity coin drops that year. I don't have the records from the fire department, which I just looked at your balance sheet from 24-25, and it does say coin drop revenue $781. So what am I missing?
Yeah, and
From your response here.
you know, that was my response was made in a quick review over, you know, my financial statements for the fire department.
Yeah.
I may have misspoken in that.
Okay.
You know,
Were there coin drops
back at it.
where you may not have been there? Is that
What's
like, were there coin drops where you may not have been present? Is that a possibility? Or
you know, you're kind of catching me off guard. We're trying to recall events that are a year and a half ago or more.
yeah. Did you collect more than $250 at any of the coin drops? I'm just wondering if you generally collect more than $250.
From any one source. No.
Okay.
I guess as just a follow, well, and that could be a mistake. I mean,
Yeah.
you know, I'm not worried about that one. What I quickly looked through all your responses, and they seemed more. You didn't put much thought into them, and I'm thinking, well, wait a minute, did he not hear what we were saying? So, there's other things here too. I don't want to go into everything, you know. I guess my next question is this going in the town report?
We don't know, but I've submitted those responses.
Because there's some other things here that are just not.
They make us tell you.
Yeah. That are true.
Yeah. And we can see the old boxes.
But the, you know, the audit findings, those are pretty too. It's saying that these are not requirements for the past year, because these are suggestions for upcoming years.
They were requests for the 2 previous years. So Dan, for 2 years that I was an auditor, I requested backup on coin drops. They requested backup on donors. I didn't need the check information. We just needed names and amounts. I requested anything over $250 to receive a letter. So those were written in, those were submitted in writing to you from auditors 2 years ago.
But
And your response was basically to negate what we asked for, saying you didn't have to do it, and you never did it. So now, when the new auditors have asked similar questions, you provided more backup. So you gave additional information. You only gave us one account previously. This time you gave 5 accounts. So you did provide more information for the audit, more backup for the audit. We didn't get all of your bank accounts before we got one bank for 2 years. It didn't have any deposits whatsoever. We asked for deposit backup. We never received deposit backup for 2 years. That was in the town report, the auditor's report for 2 years. The first year that they got deposit backup, but I did see the back and forth through that process of them asking for the information, and it was not received in a professional, or it didn't receive a professional response. It was very like negating of what they were asking for. So I'm curious, as not just the select board chair, but also as a townsperson, why are you so, why do you hide all of the details on the financials of the fire department? Why are you not forthcoming with the information?
Kelly, I don't think that we are hiding information in any way.
You did for 2
Trying
years with the
to-
audit. When we asked you for information, you just didn't provide it.
No, we have provided you with everything that you asked for. We've had.
You did not provide
we've
us with everything we
created-
asked for.
There have been additional accounts that have been created over the years to separate funding.
For 2 years, we asked for any deposit information that you did not provide. And this year you provided it, and you still had requests for that information, but you still did not fully provide everything that was asked for.
So. Kelly, we were told that. For any donation money that came in by check, you wanted a.
You said that's one way you can do it, or you can keep a log and just tell us how much was donated. Anybody who donated over $250, provide us with them with a letter every year. And we said we would like a log. You told me you wouldn't do it. You flat out said we will not do that. Who you issued a letter to thanking them for their donation?
Do you want a copy? of
Yes,
the
I do.
letter?
I wanted to see it because you told us last year when I did the audit that you would not do that, and that you did not want to name those donors.
We have donors that want to remain anonymous.
Go ahead, Roger.
Well, I just want to conclude I don't want to screw up your agenda.
You're
This is
fine, go
a
ahead.
discussion that you do need to have with the select board, I think.
Yeah.
Where it's,
Well, I have concerns about the financial oversight of the 501c3 that I don't want the town to be mucked up in, because the money that the town gives to the 501c3 to provide emergency services for the town, I don't think is, I think that there's activities going on that are not in keeping with, I need proof that there hasn't been misappropriation of funds. Because when I specifically asked for information, it has not been forthcoming and it has not been delivered. And the responses that we get are unprofessional. They are rude. They are dismissive of what's being asked, and they're defensive. And so, Dan, I don't trust you. So I'm just gonna be upfront, and I don't think other people are gonna be as upfront with you as I will be. This is my last select board meeting, so I don't, it is what it is, but I don't trust you. I think that you've behaved in such a way towards me over the past year in other meetings by getting up and walking out, having a short fuse, being dismissive and rude, and then also just seeing this endless cycle of communication that is not, it's just not professional.
I
So-
think you totally misunderstanding the tone of the emails that I just got.
Reread them. Reread them and then let me know what the tone is.
this is kind of why I'm here tonight, is to help with that. Because if, and I, like I said, everybody makes mistakes, you get an email like, that's the reason.
We're gonna be in town meeting.
That,
Moderator.
the checks that were related. This was not the reason he gave us for the letter. He said the banks, he told us the banks were closed during the week. And he didn't have the ability to deposit the checks, which, you know,
And we were in the transition of
that I
the
did.
treasurer.
That's,
You know, every speed.
he also didn't realize that the treasurer didn't pay you in time in the end. Didn't write the checks at the time. Yeah, that was never, you know, brought to our attention.
Yeah, and we were approaching that situation with, you know,
Yeah, no,
I mean, we're trying to work with the town so that we can provide emergency service for the town.
Yeah.
It's a vital service.
How many calls have you attended so far this year, Dan?
But so far this
Yeah,
year,
how many calls have you attended for the town?
me personally.
Yes,
Um. I think we've only had 2 calls in the town. And all of them have been responded to.
but did you personally respond to that?
I did,
And that's all we've received are 2 calls for the town of Granville.
right.
well,
I'm just
I
wondering,
did a call log. I haven't looked at it in detail.
okay, for last year,
Was it last year? Yeah, 'cause it was-
Yeah, for the last fiscal year.
and how many were attended by our people versus how many were attended by coverage from other?
And I do have that in the call log. There was 1 call that Hancock Fire responded to in December. And that is part of our mutual aid agreement with them.
Yeah.
If for whatever reason we are not able to respond, they come. You know, and the same vice versa.
And how many people do you have active on the fire department right now who can respond to calls?
15 or so.
Did all of them show up for training and respond to calls?
It's,
How many active people do you have on the log right now that will actively respond to a call right now? There was a call, how many people would show up?
it's going to depend on who is around at the time. We're volunteers. We're not.
I understand the idea of
Seven.
volunteer. I understand that. How many people will actually show up? Right now, August 15th.
Depends on the time of day.
Of the 15, how many people are actually engaged?
Depends on the time of day, Kelly.
It's an easy answer.
No, but.
How many people show up for training on a regular basis? How many people show up for training on a regular basis?
15.
When was the last time 8 to 15 people showed up for training? I live right next door to the fire department and I see training every Tuesday night.
Yep.
When it happens, some Tuesdays it doesn't happen. Last week? You have that, do you have that written down? Do you take a log of what shows up?
I don't understand where this is coming from.
I don't feel like right now we have an active vital resource for our town. And I question a lot of, I think just looking over the financials of the last couple of years, I question your integrity as the leader of the fire department. And if somebody else could step into that position, look at it objectively, comb through it, then I might trust it a little bit more, but you have not been upfront and honest over the last couple of years through the audit process. And this year, every time I see the audit chain go through, I just saw that same dismissive tone every time there was a question asked. And the answers that you submitted yesterday are dismissive. There's clear things that were asked by the auditors that you said it wasn't asked for, so I didn't give it. So it's one of those things where you can proactively show that you're proactively supporting a process, or you can say, don't have to do it, I'm not going to do it, don't have to do it, I'm not going to do it. And that's your answer most of the time. So if I have a problem with it, it's just because like, I don't trust people who behave that way. And the way that I've seen interaction over the last few years has not led me to trust you, Daniel. So that's why I question it. And I've had conversations with many people. I've had people come to me and say, Dan's a hothead, I don't trust him. And I think that there's a position now that we have to look at this objectively, and whether that be that the town take it back over and you step up, and if you're appointed to that position, there's more oversight. So you don't just have full oversight of the funding, for the department?
I don't have full
I
oversight.
do 100%. Nobody else
The
is in there.
directors does.
Who's on the board of directors who actively accesses the accounts?
All of our officers.
It's on the board of directors that I can contact to verify that they have watched your accounting processes.
Do you want John, our captain? You know, do you want our assistant chief, Logan Wright?
Who else?
It would be handy to have, first of all, minutes.
Yeah.
Because as an auditor, we can't verify
Signing off, do you sign off on all expenses every meeting?
how you operate it.
We do on, was that, our signing off? No, no, sign off, we do vote for expenses, yes.
Okay,
So
And approve whether
And
we.
we have a set of financial operating policies that cover how we spend money.
it would be great to have a town, like a fire department, a led meeting for town information for town. You know, for
Yeah.
residents to hear what's going on, because I'm stuck. I kind of agree with Kelly, because there's a lot of vague things going on in your finances. And I'm not an accountant, so I can't pinpoint it all, but
You know,
I mean, we never finished the audit because we didn't have materials.
if there's questions or why didn't you?
there was too many questions that you didn't answer then. I have the chain of emails because I was CC'd on that. So,
The biggest question was, why aren't there any minutes? The other questions were, where and who collects the money in your coin drops? And how do you account for that? Because you could collect $2,000-3,000 at the coin drop. It's not, I'm not accusing anybody of anything except as a responsibility to double check where money is going. You need to have detail. You can't just say it. As a chief, you can't just, oh, we collected 700, I put it in the bank. Well, that's good. But in a court, I guess, you have to have backup. So you have to either have other people at the coin drops.
should be
You have
2
to-
points of verification. One person gets counted out, another person gets counted out, both people sign off of it on it, and it gets deposited with a backup.
So this is what was missing from the audits, and these were what prompted the suggestions for next year. And that's why we couldn't finish the audit, because there was detail missing. We don't know who we got your figures on who donated money, but I don't think I ever saw, or we ever saw, who's good. Confirm, we ever saw a list of who donated and how much they donated.
You also back on coin drops.
No, but you would for otherwise. And you wrote in your note now that the 700 wasn't in fact a coin drop. It was a donation that somebody made of 700 exact dollars. So who made that donation of 700 exact dollars?
That was made up of, multiple excuses.
Exactly $700.
Yeah,
Okay.
it was round numbers.
Was anything in there of $250?
No,
Okay. So otherwise, are you still keeping a log, not sending a letter, but keeping a log of all the other ones? Because that is the best practice that we advise you on for several years. Make a log of everything that comes in so that we can back it up. And please give us deposit slips, which you never provided for 2 years. We had no record of deposit where any donations were going. So if you can look puzzled, but Dan, you've been asked these things for 3 years. Okay, and I'm a very direct person, so I'm not gonna shy around this stuff. I have, I'm not a person who can sit and say, oh yeah, I'm fine with people behaving in your integrity. And the last time you yelled at me and then you wrote me a really nasty email, I said at that time, I told Cheryl, I said, I no longer trust Dan because he behaves this way. Okay, so think about that when you behave the way that you are. Think about that when you're skirting around these direct questions that you're being asked. Okay, I'm just putting it out there that it's not okay to not answer these questions. You're in a position of power in our town, and you're in a position for people to trust you. And you have behaved in such a way that you've lost trust in townspeople. So now we have to do something about it. I can't sit in this position and do nothing about it. Which is part of the reason I don't want to sit in this position anymore. Because I know it puts me under the microscope. it also puts me in the crosshairs if you decide to retaliate in any way. So I'm just putting that out there, you know, I expect that you will not retaliate because I am voicing a true concern that's not just come from me, but from other townspeople.
That's why I think a meeting organized by the fire department with townspeople before our town meeting would be good.
Yeah.
I don't know anybody on the fire department except for my neighbors. I know John and Henry and who else is on there?
Lewis is right next door.
Yeah, Lewis is on there, but it would be great to do that every couple times a year, to have some potluck dinner or something to draw in those of us who are on the fringes. I guess I'm more concerned about the rescue aspect of it than I am about the fire department, because of my age and the people I know, my age are home.
You need it.
So if I dial 911, who comes? You know, I'm confused. We have an ambulance, but I hear it can't be licensed because it's not. There's no first responders who have license to work inside an ambulance. I mean, I don't know, I don't know what's, to believe. So it's
More complicated than that.
it's complicated. Yeah. But I don't know how, yeah, we can come to your fire meetings, but I think it would speak tons if the fire department reached into the community.
Was more open.
Right, because I kind of agree with Kelly, I'm losing faith. And when I see responses like this, it's like, well, wait a minute. We did ask for this and we didn't get it, and this isn't really meant to be a defensive business.
It's not a tit for tat. It's like asking questions. Here it is. You should be showing a good faith effort that you're providing all this stuff and being as open and honest as possible. But every step of the way, it's defensiveness, which causes me to question whether you're being honest or not. So.
Well, I don't, it's not a question of, for me, as honesty as it is reliability and just knowing that we have the services that you're providing are available.
Yeah.
Otherwise, the town should contract someone else to do that, the ambulance. I mean, I don't, again, I don't know much about the rescue part of it at all. It's very confusing.
Well, I think, if we have some kind of an objective force who can, come in a sense, well, I don't know if it's a consultant, I don't know if it's another department, but see what we need for our size, how we can continue to have joint forces with other towns, whatever that looks like. I think we need to do what we need to do right now to make sure that we have that coverage and that we can track in the coverage.
So anyway, my basic question was, I just wanted to know if this was a mistake or an oversight because of the $700 coin drop, was in your thing. So
Yes, I acknowledge that there is a contradiction there, Roger, and I'm happy to look into.
I would, system this, which make sure it's consistent with, all our emails too. I think going forward, and of course, town will decide whether or not we're gonna have auditors. And again, Bruce can chime in here, but it was so confusing, particularly with the fire department's finances, how we asked for information through emails and how we got information. Sometimes in defense of Daniel, he would send stuff and I wouldn't get it. And then I would lose it. And then Cheryl would find it and then I'd have it. And then sometimes we took pictures of it, so that procedure should be streamlined for next year if we have an auditor position. And if we don't, then a professional auditor will be looking at everything and it's that whole transfer of that.
If that's the case, then the 501c3 will have to budget for that audit because it will be double the price. of an audit that's a separate entity. If it rolls up under the town, it will be under the town audit.
Yeah.
So it will benefit the town audit that way. Otherwise, it's gonna have its own.
So if it came back under the town, or department came back under the town jurisdiction, then it would be one audit.
We will not, because it's the whole town.
I
We
think
want to
that
count under the town.
there are other ways that you can go about setting this stuff up financially so that the expenditures, as far as the municipal funds go, we submit pay orders.
Mhm.
And the town's treasurer makes the payment, then it's all under the town's bill. The only thing that the fire department does is the fundraising
Yeah.
aspect of it.
Which,
And any grant writing that we might do, and so
which we can still do if it's under.
Well, there's a $20,000 budget item for the fair. $16,000 now. Goes towards the audit. You've got 60 something in your total,
Good. Good.
right?
But if it all rolled up under the town, there can still be the same fundraising. It's still, because it's just that it's under
I don't-
the purview of the people. The people will
don't
be able to
think-
see what's going on.
I don't think that the town itself can do fundraising.
The town itself, a municipality can do fundraising, especially for a municipal fire.
I mean, typically, I was on the fire department back in the early 90s, and the way the warning articles were is a little confusing to me because fire departments are still governing, you know.
But not if they're under the municipality. They are if they're a separate entity, but
Yeah, but
not
you
every
really
fire
think
department's a
the
separate.
select board is going to put together a whole fire department?
I think that we
I
can,
mean,
one or another,
We have a hard enough time as it is getting volunteers. I don't believe you'll have very much easier.
well, we can stand in agreement to have a joint force with another town.
Yeah, I think what Rochester does is, I think, fire department, Western officials, then
Mhm.
select board has to approve it.
Yes.
I understand.
Yes, and select.
And they act as a separate.
But
Yeah.
this past year, they denied the fire department.
Yeah, sure, yes.
They overthrew those elections
Yep.
and appointed the chief that they wanted. That's Rochester. That is going to be a major concern for your volunteers here. That the chief that they elect or the officers that they elect, they're gonna want them into those positions.
I just would like to see like more people get involved with it. And I think, right now, I think the town should have a say in general as to who the fire chief is. And I think that they should have a say as to how the department is run. And right now it's separated.
And it is separated,
Yeah.
but you do have a say in how that operates. And that's why continuing a conversation, there has to be a constant dialogue. And something that the town has proposed in more than a year is a representative on the fire department board that hasn't been appointed by the select.
That's right.
Why?
Well, because we have not had somebody to appoint. I know that Mike was assisting in that. I think that we pulled the agreement in October. And realized that we needed to apply. So we had known in the past, I think the last person was Ricky Brown. And so, it's we're definitely talking about doing. And I think the other concerns came up. That was when the audit started. So there were concerns throughout the audit that were coming to light. And I think that, our discussions on this end have been more towards, we need to do something different with the fire department. We need to take a look at this and kind of pull back the onion layer and see what's going on in there.
What do the auxiliary members? Doug Fuller, all those folks.
So they would assist with fundraising activities or
Be a
they
liaison.
could be, a liaison if select board appointed them.
They've got,
Um,
they're gonna have a meeting, one thing you might bring up too is what recurring is. Fire department has bylaws, don't they have some sort of, their separate entity agreement, I don't know if that's written, I forget what they call it now, but there's certain things that. It says in there that the town can do, to get a fire, there's certain bylaws that you guys have to follow by. Yeah, fire departments, yeah. I'm trying to think what they actually
I don't,
Bylaws.
last agreement has that.
It's called something that you have that they have to follow. I don't know if it's bylaws yeah, something of that nature, something that the fire department's supposed to follow.
Well,
Read
they're
years
supposed
ago.
they're supposed to establish whatever
Well-
they have as their 501c3, and then we
That-
have the agreement that says this is what you'll abide by.
That's probably what I'm.
Which we also, within the agreement, we have concerns about points in the agreement.
Well, I mean, the agreement is 10 years old at this point. There are things in there that don't make sense. They're vague.
Mhm.
They may not be relevant to today. It does need to be looked at.
Yeah.
And in that agreement, if there are things that the town wants to see on a regular basis, that's where you would put that in.
Yeah.
You know, the treasurer's position is thankless job. Nobody wants it. And that's why I was put in there. Nobody else wants it. We've been through 4 or 5 different treasurers in just as many years.
I know, and some of those treasurers have talked to me about their, this is being treasurer and not enjoying the. So I'm just gonna put that out there, that treasurers have not felt like they were empowered to be the treasurer. Okay, so that's another point too. People are afraid to step up and speak their minds. I'm not afraid to step up and speak my mind. I'm just gonna put it out there, because I have nothing to lose. But, I think that the thing is there's questions.
I have always been, if somebody thinks I'm a jerk, they can come and tell me. If they think I'm having a bad day, they can say so. All of us have lives outside the fire.
Yes.
None of us to volunteer for the town, but we do it so that we can protect the community that we live in and help our neighbors in their time of need.
No, and I agree with that, and I think that's good, but you have not displayed that 100% of the time that I've spoken with you about your position in the fire department.
And
This is the first time that you have not raised your voice and gone on.
what I'm just gonna. So
Yeah.
the defense that I have is, you and I don't talk. We're not involved. We're not in each other's circles,
Yeah.
right? You don't necessarily know what I've been through in the last year and a half. I've closed a business. I have a new baby.
We see that time when we go to some scene.
Oh, I've been on scenes before. I used to be a first responder. I grew up with a mother who was one of the first female firefighters and paramedics for Salt Lake County Fire. I understand fire department. I understand how it runs.
It's hundreds of hours of training that I put into an EMT class. And by the way, I just tested. Now I'm an EMT recognized at the national level,
Good.
right?
Congratulations.
The strain that is put on our volunteers is unbearable. And
We need more volunteers.
So we need more volunteers and you need help.
yes,
So part of getting that help is
We
being
put
open and honest.
Our fire department aside, so we can do first response for the 3 towns. Okay, him and I have been to most of these calls over and over and over again. We've tried and tried and tried. We got busted into by Rochester over and over again, saying they would not allow their members to join us. They had a couple of members that did come here and join us, and they were doing great. But as soon as Rochester and their little thing happened, we went along. We lost a lot of our volunteers due to that. We had 2 people who didn't do nothing that was on squad for a while. They've gone, they've left. Now we're trying to pick it all back up.
Well, I know that, and I think that that's part of it, and I have heard from Rochester about how they feel about our town. So there's a lot of different perspectives here, and it has to go both ways.
So,
every day, I can tell you right now, Terry Severy is not a man that's any one of these 3 towns.
and I don't want to get into the politics between the 3 fire departments and the 3 towns. There are a lot of agendas at play here. And you may not even be aware of them.
We all hate each other.
Yes, I have something. Some of us can stop me. Just walk through these things. I have no problem working with these guys. You know, they're our neighbors. We need them just as much as they need us. You know, and I apologize for getting emotional, but you know, we put our blood, sweat, and tears into this. And yeah, so when you're faced with what seems like endless questioning, it hits home. You know, I've been a part of the department for 20 years. In that time, I've been ridiculed, harassed, threatened. I felt like I had a target on my back for 20 years. 13 of that is chief. Nobody wants this job. That's why I keep getting reelected. Every year, I tell people, if anyone else wants this job, step up. Crickets.
That's one of the problems. There's a lot of jobs in this town. People need this.
Yeah,
Well, and do people know that it's available?
absolutely.
Who, I've never seen it posted on Front Porch Forum or anything.
It's
I mean,
not a
it's- yeah.
job position. You know, we can't compensate anybody for it. There is no reason why anyone would want to do that job. There's no benefit.
There might be somebody out there that wants to do it. But it's not, they don't know that they
They
can.
need to join the fire department,
Mhm.
learn what the job is and learn something about how the operation is. And they can go for it. All they have to do is say that they're interested. They would be voted in. It's a democracy. We're a group of volunteers. Elections are a democracy.
Would everybody that's been on your force agree that it's?
Absolutely.
I certainly
that?
hope so. Yeah. This is not a dictatorship. The-
Well, I think that you
Well,
have,
if that's the position, he'll step down much after this year.
I absolutely would.
He'll do it.
you're not,
Kelly Ackroyd, next fire station.
Every year, if anybody wants it, I don't want it.
like, have some experience, we can go with, the DMT, not EMT in here for anymore. Than Utah.
All of this could be solved really easily by regular meetings
Mhm.
between, and not regular every month, but
By
Also,
quarterly.
by being open and honest about things, and when somebody asks a question, not getting defensive, not feeding it back and saying, I don't have time to give you an answer, or giving a roundabout answer. And I also will say, going back to the many times I asked for things over the first 2 years as an auditor, then you were not upfront with me. You were very dismissive, and I even had one-on-one meetings with you before, or you came in and spoke with us, and I said, it's to cover your butt. It covers your butt for us to have this information, you just still didn't. You know, I don't want people to look at you and wonder if there's misappropriation of funds, but after 3 years of it, I question that now. So that's my biggest concern. It's like after the first year, okay. Maybe next year, Dan will give it that. Second year, no. This year, more different auditors, more information came across, but it's still the same wall. Still the same defensive
You
wall.
know, and join the treasurer.
I don't want
It's,
to do
it
that.
sounds like you have a really fine grasp on finances. Now, I would love for somebody to step into the department, not even in the emergency service side of it, just as an administrative role.
that if the town takes over, wants to take back over some of the business of the fire department, then that would alleviate you of that job,
Mhm.
and you would have
You know,
more
you're-
time for your other duties.
But as far as the financials go, you know, it's 10 transactions a month.
Mhm.
And most of those are automated because they're utility.
What's there for you to keep defending, keeping the 501c3 alive? why not roll it back and under the town and
So
maintain and
It
get
was,
more
so
people-
it was never part of the town. It was originally organized as a separate entity in 1951. And my great grandfather and grandfather were some of the founding members.
So what's wrong with now bringing it so that it's under the purview of the people?
It's not that simple. I came from an environment where it was on private, or town. There's so many more factors and standards you are held to.
Mhm.
What it's gonna do is it's gonna raise taxes because you're gonna have to get money to maintain the department. The town-owned department would also have to pay its members. So you're gonna start needing a lot more money. Keep the building updated, the trucks updated, tax every, 4 or 5 years. You gotta follow a whole nother set of standards. And all that's gonna do is raise taxes.
You know,
Before the fire department became incorporated, town paid all the bills.
yes,
So that's what we're getting to, I guess, is that's what I'm saying, is the
So-
town wants to go back to, so all the bills would go through the town treasurer, like you said, even.
Mhm.
And then the fundraisers could go through you guys. It was so stuff.
when it was originally incorporated, we had our own checkbook. I still have some of the canceled checks. One of them was for first year apparatus in 1951.
Nice.
And
So
that's awesome, you know?
Right.
Yeah, right.
Driving that.
Yeah. Now, over the years, you know, we had our own treasurer elected within the departments, and depending on, who they could get to be the treasurer, because it is such a thankless job. Sometimes that treasurer was also the town's treasurer. But it was still a separate organization. And that was the case even, into, well, in the early 2000s. I remember Jim Parrish had the checkbook. And that's where the waters got muddied in who owns what. And the demand was made for that checkbook to be turned over to the town's treasurer. But that was a time when people were not totally certain what the department was. And if you look back through the town meeting records, the minutes from our town meetings, it spells out what we were. We were separate from the town. The town voted on it. You know, it was just a group of people who wanted to help their community, and it was aided by the Mossland Grange. You know, the Grange actually raised a lot of the money to start the department. So. No, and to Roger's point, yeah, I think a lot of this could be settled just over a coffee table. You know, just sit down and have a cup of coffee and get to know your neighbors. You know, you live right next door to the firehouse.
Mhm.
I've invited you and Jesse to join the department. They don't know how many times.
Mhm.
They don't think you've set foot in the station,
I've been,
you know, but, you know, and
I'm over there all the
I
time.
have.
No,
you know.
I know, and the thing is like, there's a very finite, there's a very good reason why I don't. And, I know that my work schedule in the past has not allowed it. I know that, I don't feel like I could commit enough time to it to be,
So, and
full or responsible,
Yeah.
taking on that type of role.
so that is often the response that we get from potential members. They don't think they have the time.
Yeah.
You know, but the thing is, the more people, the roster trained, you know,
Mhm.
more likely we're gonna be able to put a crew together to respond to a call.
So out of your crew that you have now, what percentage do you expect for your guys to show up at a call?
You know, like John said, you know, depending on the time of day. you're looking at 2 to 10.
Good at 10%.
No, 2 to 10 people.
Yeah, that's right.
Uh,
In daytime.
you know, daytime during the work week, that is the most difficult time to have volunteers available, and that's the case across the country. And that's why mutual aid is in place, because if we can come up with a couple guys, Hancock has a couple guys, Colin Warren, they have a few. Now you can handle the incident, whatever it is.
Excuse me,
And
Yes, Marilyn?
sorry to switch gears here. I'd like to ask a question. Did someone say that VRS does not have a licensed person to provide that service?
no,
They're not an ambulance service, that's what we mentioned. They're first response. only.
right.
I had the,
Don't they need a license to be EMS providers? Like, wasn't that Rebecca Yan? Wasn't she the one who had the license? And is there someone now who has a license?
So Rebecca was appointed as our EMS chief last October, I believe it was. She has since left the department. I have, she is, yeah,
whole different level.
right.
Advanced life support.
So, I've taken over the EMS chief's role. We do have EMTs and first responders on the department. But since last fall, the numbers are very thin.
Who has the
There was,
license, Dan? Who has the license now? Rebecca was the one with the license before, right?
so the individual is licensed at a level to practice medicine. But the department itself has a license to operate as an organization and respond to calls. The individual has to be affiliated with the organization.
Is there an individual with a license who is now affiliated with the organization?
One more time, Marilyn?
You said that the individual who has a license is affiliated with the organizations. Since Rebecca left, is there an individual now who is affiliated with the organization?
Yes, all of us are affiliated with the organization.
But
Who
not
has
for Brian.
the license? Who has the license?
Oh, maybe I can clarify this.
Who's the new Rebecca?
So they don't have to have a license, so they have a general license. Their EMT certification allows them to respond. Right, first responder.
Yeah.
So that's
Okay.
your certification.
Okay, so we do have an EMT service in town.
Answer, individuals are licensed individually.
Yes.
Individually licensed.
So you all have different age.
Okay, I just thought that someone said earlier that there was no license. Did Roger, did you mention that in one of your questions?
Oh, hold on, just a minute.
This is why it would be really handy
For the meeting,
to have more.
understanding of what, who's there and.
Well, I called 911 last Tuesday.
Oh, yeah.
There were 5 people there, and
No.
and
You gotta wait for battle.
Roger.
Call.
Or the people from Rochester.
Not always.
One try. Yeah, and still they don't have many paramedics. I think it's 2 or 3. It's not.
White River Valley is struggling.
Yeah.
And they're paid.
So so what's the answer to the question?
They are not required to have a license for the department, it's each individual's license.
They can do first response. We don't have anybody to do advanced life support. So we don't have anybody to do transport from here.
Okay, so we're all set though. We do have VRS. I mean, we are
Yeah.
good.
Squad is part of Granville Fire.
Yeah. but they can't transport.
No,
Okay.
we have never been.
Okay, I just wanted to be clear on that because I didn't know if we had that, since someone earlier during this discussion mentioned there not being a license, and I can't recall if it was Roger brought the question up. I can't recall in all the conversations.
I asked if we had a licensed vehicle, a vehicle that was.
Oh, okay. I'm
What?
sorry, the volume. I didn't hear that. Okay, thank you.
And there was a possibility of getting the umbrella with White River Valley. And that became too much as far as, but they wanted that sort of, they needed more volunteers too, or.
So, there, I guess that's part of a much wider discussion. Yeah.
This a year ago.
You know, White River Valley is under pressures of their own, both financial, personnel wise, and also, you know, statewide. You know, they're talking about consolidating districts and forcing mergers and centralizing service. And you know, White River Valley is trying to maintain itself in such a condition where they won't be forced to go away. They want to be the strongest organization in this district.
Who can fill that need other than that, but
Yeah.
Right.
in Randolph, Bethel?
No.
There needs to be a.
So our attempt to become a backup ambulance service, I think that was a thorn in their side. I think that pointed out a weakness in their armor. And they couldn't have that. You know, and that's my opinion.
But there was some movement and how to get the ambulance that we have licensed under their umbrella.
There was some slow movement, and they had a leadership change. And things immediately deteriorated at that.
And we talked to Bear River too.
Yeah,
Correct.
I mean, that would be that's a huge liability to the town too, though. I mean, to the whoever. I mean, there's a lot of additional.
So here's. Okay, yeah, it's a liability to take on transport, absolutely. The root of that idea was that if the option is when you're on scene with a patient, they're in a serious life event, okay? And White River Valley cannot respond for whatever reason. And we have to wait on scene for an hour or more for the next ambulance to show up.
People are gonna suffer.
Right,
Mhm.
people are gonna suffer, and that's our neighbor that we're there with. We're first responders, we're waiting for the ambulance to ultimate. So if the choice is that we wait on scene with this person,
Providing basic life.
providing basic life support and who knows what the outcome is, or we have a backup ambulance that if we have the crew available, we can transport this person to the hospital or to a landing zone where they can get to DART.
Like down here.
Right.
The-
That was the option. That was what we wanted to do. We wanted to be that backup option. So that we can maintain a transport service here. There are countless occasions where White River Valley only has one truck on, or they can't find the crew, or they're out on another call. And they're calling in mutual aid to cover their service area.
Mhm.
We aren't exposed to that quite so much because we don't have the call volume to see it. But if you listen to the airwaves, you hear it all the time in Randolph and Bethel.
Yeah.
And, you know, these situations do affect our volunteers.
So what would it take to get the conversation going with all three towns here to reestablish something like that? I know that you started that.
They want nothing to do with it, we've already asked that question.
We had, we had,
Yeah, but we came much.
you know, as,
Who's the chief?
so for 10 years, we covered all three towns, Granville and Rochester. And for 10 years, we tried to recruit people in all three towns. And with some success, but what we found is that fire departments really control the volunteer corps. Okay, we wanted to engage them in some way, and we thought that EMS was something that all three fire departments really agreed on. You know, that we could actually work together. And it just never came to fruition. You know, whether it was personality conflicts or just the fact that somebody in Rochester did not want to be labeled as part of something in Granville. You know, they just didn't want that image.
That's gonna change.
A lot of
No, it does.
This is like.
People have been in the room to have these conversations. You know what I mean? I feel like that it needs to be a greater group of people,
you know,
not just people who have their own
and
areas. It
I
needs to be everybody.
don't think those conversations are gonna take place unless there is this pressure from the select ones. You know, this needs to happen. I think that the three fire departments can work more closely together and should, but that can be written out in a more formal mutual aid agreement and structure than what we have. You know, Addison County is a terrific example of what a mutual aid system looks like. In the officers of each fire department, elected by their own people, they come to some sort of a consortium and elect officers from amongst themselves to lead the organization. You know, and that organization sets a structure for training and basic requirements for personnel and equipment.
And who is this now?
Addison
And
County,
All the towns, all the way to Lake Champlain, they're all involved.
except for Granville and Hampton,
Yeah, why is that?
Because we're too far. away.
because we're too far away and we're not,
Yeah.
yeah.
They selectively invite us to do stuff, you know, but it's selective.
Yeah, but ever use them for like ourselves.
Sorry, no, very-
Yeah, it would be a resource. I think it would be great. I think this gives us a lot to think about.
Well, my little, something like communications.
That's, well, we got to move forward. We've got an hour, we're an hour in.
I can't pronounce.
I think there's important things here. We haven't done anything. If we haven't yet, really, have something, I don't know if it could be a joint call between the select board and the fire department to have an open house and have people come and ask questions relative to what's on the warning. I think that would be fair in advance.
Yeah.
So people can have a good idea of the reason and the questions, and they can get those questions answered. Because it's not, like I said, it's not to me, but I think that there's certain things that the townspeople need to have more involvement in and better understanding. And I think a lot of that comes down to, I know that there's a lot of fear on what's the future of our fire department, you know? I do appreciate you being here tonight and being so respectful,
Well,
and
and
so I appreciate it.
And Kelly, I guess, you know, my final response to that is, you know, the email that I sent, this was after the full website discussion. You know, that evening, I really felt like I was being dogged about that. And
Nothing at all.
the only thing I said is, you know, figure out what you want to do with the website and let me know. And I had to repeat myself 3 times and I was still being argued with.
I don't,
And
that wasn't the point at all. I didn't feel like there was any argument. We just wanted to make sure that.
So, yeah, I
I
did leave out of frustration because I had already given an answer. And I felt like I was being dogged, and my email to you was not in anger or anything. I was
It was
being
unprofessional.
sincere and genuine.
Well, it was unprofessional, and it's not.
So my only in that email was that these types of disagreements kill volunteers.
There's no disagreement, and I don't understand why you got as angry as you did. We were having a discussion. It was not questioning you.
That topic has come up year after
It
year.
was my
after
first time
year.
having the conversation about
But
it.
there's history there.
And I understand it's a touchy subject. Your reaction was outwardly aggressive, and your response to me was rude and unprofessional. And so, and that's not the first time. I mean, the last time we sat down to talk about the fire department, you raised your voice and you left in a huff when we had executive session. So that was also not well received. And so that's 2 times that I've tried to just have you involved in conversations about things that need to get done. And your behavior was not, it was completely, absolutely not something I would have expected.
Well, I think it's something Daniel's thinking through right now,
Yeah,
and he's,
you take it to heart, like,
yeah,
We
it's
have
very
to-
emotional, all these things, because like you said, and just a few years I was on the fire department, you bond with people in a way that it's hard to explain. It's like family.
yeah,
So when the questions come, and I'm agreeing with a lot of what you and Natalie is, but I want to see the town being able to run a fire department.
it might not be able to, but I think that the two you seem to say.
I think it's the final plumbing here, so I can go have my hammer.
Hello.
Then you make an emergency.
Yeah.
No, I'm gonna get, but it's a process, and the first thing he said to me when I pointed this out, which is what I wanted to hear, was he made a mistake.
Yeah.
Or it was something maybe it was an oversight. And that to me is a big step. We all learn from making mistakes, but you have to admit you made a mistake.
It's humility, and I think that's what we need to see. I'm not seeing humility in your reactions. And tonight you have been humble and you have been
Yeah.
respectful.
But you
So,
have to also not be the questioning and the attacking and there has to be a paced approach.
Yeah.
I'm sitting here and there's a lot of good stuff coming in the select board right now, but it's relentless.
well,
Say it.
yeah, well, I
don't blame you, but I'm just saying, it's
meeting. So I, if you look at it, it's kind of like I'm in a position where,
No,
I gotta put it out there.
That's why it's important, I think, between now and March 3rd. For the fire department and rescue squad that's associated with it. We have public meeting with people like me who have questions. I want to know if I have a stroke, what's gonna happen.
Yeah,
And maybe something can be submitted to Dan ahead of time too, to say, there's.
Yeah.
We wanna,
Yeah,
be
it
prepared.
could even be I don't know.
Yeah.
Technology. It's
So
all.
I think questions need to be submitted in person. Like,
It's good to have face to face.
because it is way too easy to misinterpret tones of emails and get totally off track. And I think that's a lot of what's happened over the last 3 years, as you pointed out.
Well, you just flat out said, I won't give that to you. And in your responses even here, there's just, we don't do that. I'm not gonna provide that. And there are things that are reasonable to read. So that's part of it. I mean, what's the reason for not providing it? They're pretty easy things to provide. So that's part of it. It's like, how do you, not read into that? If somebody continually puts the wall up when you're asking for something that should be easy to provide, that also helps you cover your bases so there's not question about your activities. And like I said, the first year I said, these are things that would behoove you to do because it will cover your butt. It'll make sure that there's no questions about what you're doing under audit, because we had a lot of questions about what the finances under audit, because we have received most of them.
And again, I wasn't treasurer all 3 of those years.
But
You
you
know,
were
And
part of it, and you had a new treasurer that hadn't done anything the first year, they just barely started.
Yeah.
So whoever was treasurer, you had access to all of the documents, you had access to all of that, so you were the responsible party. And I would say every year, you've been the responsible party, whether you were the treasurer or not, because you by default become that responsible party as the chief. So,
Yeah, I think that an area that you could improve on is, being not question as much why people are asking for stuff. I mean, it was frustrating for me when I was, somehow delegated to send out the emails for requesting. But getting responses like that was in the last email or was requested before, and it's like, well, no, what it came down to is we never talked.
right,
It was the email thing. I drove me bananas. So it's all like this when we get together and talk about this stuff. It becomes a learning experience. Next year, if we're auditors again, I won't email you, or we'll have a little meeting.
I will say, we had 2 or 3 meetings with Dan and Henry face to face and asked for stuff, and we still did not
Yeah, I.
finish. So that's why it's frustrating. I've been part of all 3 years. And that's why I'm to the point that I'm at on questioning some of this stuff. It makes me nervous. Other people have voiced their concern that it makes them nervous. And so I would feel like I'm not doing my job as
but at
the chair.
the same time, a lot of those meetings that you had, I walked away from thinking, yeah, we got this, they're happy with everything.
I was not.
And apparently you're not.
No,
So
a lot of them basically said we didn't get what we needed and they need to do this next year because we didn't receive this. And then you didn't do it the next year and you didn't, so that's part of it. That's why it's frustrating. And so, yes, I think that there hits a point where there's question. And that's where,
Well, I think it would also be easier if the financial part of it was part of the town's finances. The fire department,
That's right.
the fire department, the 501c3 could still have fundraising events and have that account. All of the other transactions and whatnot. Treasure.
Who, in all honesty, will also make mistakes because he.
Yeah, those mistakes.
Is it being recorded? No.
We can.
Exactly.
Manual, we are.
What is the status of the $500 million federal grant?
Well, we need to have a Zoom meeting with them, and that was one of my questions to the people here, because Julie's leaving. I need to have myself and another hierarchy on the select board, which I don't know if Ken's planning on returning, or Mike, and the only other person is Mike and Dan. The 3 of us need to be able to meet with the USDA.
Well, I started the whole thing, I would volunteer, if that would be.
Yeah.
Appropriate.
It's much needed.
But, if we're starting municipal fire department, then where do your current firefighters stand?
Keeping you.
Yeah, I mean,
Are you?
we're looking
Yeah.
at this.
Where do you stand?
Firehouse is where he's at.
Yeah.
We just want you're all staying, and Nancy's gonna.
There you go.
But I can't blame him for worrying about that, because right over the mountain last 2 years ago, town got involved and their chief and half of their team walked
Oh
away.
my God.
Yes.
And it was all because of the town, so I don't blame him if he's curious and wondering if you'll actually keep, no offense. Maybe you will, but when the town gets involved, a lot more things, there's certain protocols and everything that's involved.
And it changes the flavor.
Right.
Totally. You know, right now, the volunteers are responsible for everything, and you can they take a sense of pride in that a lot of times.
A lot of the thought that I have into it is you want to take the business load off your back so that you can continue to do your best at
So-
being firefighters.
Yeah.
We don't want to take the fire house off the money.
So-
We want to take the load of the business off your.
Right.
Yeah, EMS.
I think
No.
to that topic, you know, a lot of the burden has already been taken off of me. You know, we have 120 calls a year in Rochester that we no longer have to respond to. That is where a lot of my time was going. And then all the reporting and the maintenance and upkeep of just that service. We don't have. So, like John had said, now our focus can come back to what it was 10 years ago, to just providing the best possible fire service to Granville that we can. You know, and over the last 10 years especially, I have not had a lot of, and I want to be careful how I say that, because I don't want to alienate the people that have served, but you know, I think our current structure, the officers that we have, I have some other support behind me to help with that burden. So if I can't do something, I know Logan, my assistant chief, is going to be able to pull the rope.
There's been a lack of leadership from the few years I've been on the department until more recently. Where, you know, people are busy with work, Henry, you know, grow season, he's going crazy doing that, he doesn't have time for it. Daniel's busy with work or this or that. There wasn't much help outside of those two. And I think we brought in some pretty good resources to help manage the load, or if Daniel needs to step back. Logan, John, I need a break for a minute. You guys figure this out, let me know if you have questions. Before, what I noticed is there wasn't any of that. There was offers for it, but those offers never followed through with what he needed, what the department needed. And I think now with the members we have coming in, I think there's a better support to be able to manage, and with, like he said, the decrease in calls and everything like that, it's definitely a huge load off the shoulders on what we have to keep track of.
You know, we've brought in 4 new members in the last 4 months. You know, I mean,
That's good.
so it's not all bad news.
It's really tough for people to fill these positions and try to survive down here. Because it's a tough road. Start making money.
Yeah.
Takes a long time.
My commute is an hour one way. Sure. So I'm in Rutland now.
Minutes.
Enlightening concern. Part of it is that, communication goes 2 ways. And if all you're hearing are questions, because people need things from you, and you're taking that as like the horn, the fact where you're like, they just keep asking me these questions, get off my back. Well, we're not getting the communication that we need. And so when that breaks down and it's only through email, or if it, you know, there's other means as well, and it comes across as aggressive attitude, negativity, it erodes the trust. And I think that going forward, if there are ways that you can be more proactive, and the department can be more proactive about the communication with the town, communication with the select board, coming to select board meetings, not just when you're summoned to the select board meeting, but coming, you know, or sending somebody from the team to come and advise and give us an update, like that would be helpful.
No, and I totally agree with that. You know, I'm hearing that. I know what you're saying. you know, I've seen it. There are things that we can do to improve. There's a lot, you know. I have not had that support behind me to allow that to happen. I do now. I also need to see from the town, the representative, you know, a lot of those questions could be answered, I think, just by having somebody at the table, voting on the things and hearing the discussions.
On the contrary, we can appoint some additional select board meetings.
Mhm.
One hand washes the other.
Yeah, that would be great, because I think that's part of it. I think
If you have a preference on who it is, you voice your opinion. And
everybody.
If you think I'm a jerk and you don't want to deal with me, that's fine.
I'm just calling out over here. That's it. That's it. Never call her name, okay?
Suggestion maybe a quarterly, at least.
Yeah.
Minimum of a quarterly.
Just by somebody with a pulse.
Yeah.
I can speak and listen, right?
Clearly. Yeah, I'm happy with that. I mean, as long as the communication goes both ways, but when it's that, I think that it's gotten to a point where it's been just asking, and then just getting this negativity, and how does that leave people? You know, you start saying, can I trust this entity? Can I trust this person? You know, and I don't want you to be in that position, Dan. Like, I don't feel good that you're in that position. I think for years, I've always been thankful for what you do, you know? And I know I've told you that in the past, you know, and I think everybody's told you that, or I hope everybody's shared with you that they're thankful for what you do. But, you know, I think that also, that doesn't mean that, you know, when it comes down to it, people have things they need to get done, that it's okay to communicate in certain ways or behave in certain ways that are not honest. They don't feel honest. And I'm not saying that you're not. I'm saying it to us, it creates an air of dishonesty. And I don't want that to hang over anything. So and it's not going to change unless I tell you that's how I feel. That's how other people feel. So how do we change that? We put it out in the open. I'm not going to not tell you that people have reported that, you know? So from here, we can go forward and up.
Yeah. Can we agree to go forward now? Each other. And then we can deal with the sheriff if she's.
Yeah, to be waiting, sorry. I thank you for coming too. Thank you so much.
I just have
Yes.
I am happily also. Marilyn's got a question. I just need to know before I go what her question is for me.
Marilyn, you have a question for?
Thank you, Nancy. I wanted to ask because I thought you would be leaving. I just have a question in regard to future payments for website expenses. Does the town have a credit card, or would the town be billed? The thing is, the billing, the bill would have to be paid plenty of time before it's due if it's a paper check, you know? So, so that way the hosting service doesn't drop off. Now that's for September, but recently I just I renewed the domain registration out of pocket because it's coming up and I didn't know how long it would take to cut a check or anything like that. So do you have a card, or how would we work that for paying bills?
If you give me all the information, as I can set it up to be automatically debited. I cannot give anyone else that debit card information. Right.
Yeah,
If you want to give me information, I need to set that up. And then as far as what you paid out of pocket, if you submit that information, I put it on the select board orders to be paid. You know, if you hadn't done that now, we could have done it tonight. Now it looks like it'll be, the March meeting, but for something you paid out of pocket, you just need to submit so that I can then pay you back.
Okay, and as far as I hate to do a recurring payment for the hosting service, because, in case we switch to another hosting provider, but we could deal with that when the time comes. Okay, thank you, Nancy. That's all I needed to know.
Okay.
Any more public comments?
Thank you, Roger. Thank you so much. Yeah. So moving ahead, we approve the agenda, make a motion for the agenda.
Second your motion.
All in favor?
I might tune in.
Agenda is approved. Okay, financial payment orders, just to get through these really quickly. We've approved all payment orders. They're signed by both of us. I already read through these before, so they're fine. I don't have any questions on the financial reports. Do you have any questions on the financial reports?
I do not.
I reviewed them when I got here.
Did you get your answer to your? Over. Well, I haven't got the answer. In the email, when they've done the reports, my question was, we're already over budget on highway. Are we going to start taking the payments out of
The surplus.
the surplus?
Yes, we need to. Yeah, we agreed that the surplus would be used this year as to cover these expenses. Yes,
You're going over.
All right.
We're over budget on our winter budget.
should balance.
No, on the total budget, which was so a lot of that work that we did this summer is on this year, obviously, I guess, right?
Yep.
The trucking and the gravel and all. I thought that was already taken out of the highway capital. fund.
It's been replaced. Yeah.
Yeah, but now over budget on what you budgeted for roads. Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's why I'm saying, are we gonna?
Which
It's only about $30,000 in the highway capital fund.
Right.
Yep. Which is, we had planned to use all of it this year.
I don't think we did.
I thought that we did. I thought that was. the
We were hanging under some of it because our winter road plowing bill may go over budget on that, and our winter sand pile bill, we may have to get more sand, because that went over budget. Then we have to go and buy some more sand, hopefully not.
They're digging
And
in.
if we're already over budget, we still owe $30,000 in plowing.
Right,
I mean, that's pretty much over budget. That's you'd be lucky to get through the year with
Mhm.
where,
highway capital.
where's your, what's your plowing
No, it's on the profit and loss.
on the product?
Yeah.
So are we gonna have to, so once that's depleted, we'll have to go into loan. We don't have money. So we'll have to assess that, but right now,
Only, if I'm gonna use the highway surplus to pay the monthly bills, I would only transfer the exact amount. It's not like, oh, well, we spent $20, 20,000, so I'll just transfer 25. I don't do that. I transfer the exact amount that's on that in selectmen's order.
Yes. So we still have some, $30,000, hopefully.
We're paying 14 to 15,000 a month for plowing.
I realize that. And I'm just trying to figure out what the timeline is where we tell them to not come around anymore. April.
So we're good. All right, I'm saying.
So
Storms in April, you'll step it up.
did you get the letter for the delinquent tax?
Thank you
Okay,
very much. I sent it on to Michael because he wanted to approve it first and
Okay.
have to go back. Yeah.
okay. It's a start.
are we done with you guys?
Thanks, you guys.
Are we?
Have a good night.
Okay. You too.
Okay. Okay, Sarah. Let's jump over here to approval for ground penetrating. Ground penetrating, stuff. What services? So this is for the town hall accessibility. Yeah. Yes.
Where is, significant, just about it, we talked about it was in the list. Selectboard decided some money for doing the next step to figure out where is an old oil tank on the building, and then if there is a repair problem. That's, but at the moment we don't know.
Yeah.
So, we got a proposal back from, and I have printouts, the only notes we found.
Yeah, I think we have.
So we got a proposal back from Wade Handel, who did the initial assessment, and they said that there might be a tank out there for $1,660.
Yes.
And which is quite reasonable.
Yeah, that's a lot more than that.
Yeah, especially given that it's snowbound at the moment, but they said they could still get out.
But if we need to follow that, of course, we want to.
Yeah, there you go. There you go. Oh, yeah, that's the T. I've got the one.
Yeah, it's a very. end.
Probably won't see it in there.
$1,660.
Yeah.
Okay.
So that is well within your excess budget. Now, in order to actually get contract in place, there's some things we need, the state requires that all subcontractors, provide, they be registered in SAM.gov. This is the one thing, so you have to register in SAM.gov, you register with states and stuff. They have their state registration down, it's a SAM.gov piece, they're currently working on that. And we have some state assistance to help them if they run into any technical difficulty. So that piece isn't done yet, so I don't feel comfortable executing quite yet, because if for some reason something goes wrong, we're like, oh no, we can't do it, and we'll have to find another, right? But a subcontractor, I mean, we would still stay with one, but we would find a different stuff. And then we would get the non-employee work agreement, liability harmless agreement, which is the paperwork that Cheryl's requested on these contracts. Then we'll have certificates of insurance, which I have both written down. The only thing we're missing is the SAM registration. But what I'm hoping to get is select board's approval to execute the contract once the SAM registration goes through all those pieces in place.
Okay. Okay, so no signature tonight, but just review.
That's now my request. I'm happy to walk through the draft contract language if you like. This is literally the same contract language that was used for the initial contract. Yeah, I just changed the names.
I do recall that, and like looking through it too. I got here a little early, so I was reading through it, and it looks, yeah, it's pretty good. And we also had Mike chime in via text. He's an overlord. He said, I vote to move forward with the grant. So I think we're all in agreement with it. It's just when we're ready to sign it, I think we'll be. Yeah. Will we, I'm wondering, I mean, we could agree that we want to move forward tonight, and then if we sign it in the interim. So I make a motion to agree that upon approval of SAM.gov registration, that we move forward with this contract for environmental assessment services for the location of a possible underground tank doing ground penetrating radar. Or I make a motion to do that.
Second your motion.
Okay, all in favor?
I,
Okay, any opposed? No. Okay,
no,
so moved.
yeah.
Yes. Good. So when the time comes, we can run over.
Is that covered by a grant?
Okay.
Yep, so that's paid for by the
That's great.
grant.
Yeah.
Okay, and we'll still have some money left over, so if we find a tank, you know, we gotta drill some holes and see if it's leaking or whatever, we have to excavate the tank. That will probably cover part of it, I don't know if it can all, it depends on that situation. Okay. Okay.
It would be my guess. People like probably feel it open until it's all dirt, so it may still be there.
Right.
My old septic tank's still in my yard, but that's not a fuel barrel.
Right.
It's hard to say, you never.
But it's metal, it was.
Nothing left of it, I bet.
Well, the ground's still flat, so I don't.
These are, and we got the plans.
Right, so,
I
so my
can read
next
those, sorry.
They're too small.
is, I'd like to see it. I know it's already late and I don't want to turn this into like a design review session. At one point we had talked about having a select board meeting to do that in-depth review and build up some more time. And just love some directions from select board as to how you'd like to move forward. The other thing I want to offer is that, you know, if y'all are pressed for time, I know this is a very hectic time of year and we're important to be able to put more time into this. I could work with the calculation of how much cash you're gonna have to contribute in order to make up the difference.
Can you do that, just so we can see what that looks like, then we can be kind of prepared with that, and then if we need to, we can be ready. Mainly because now we're looking at town meeting and other stuff coming up. For sure.
Was there anything, I don't know if y'all have had a chance to look, and you had some burning thoughts you wanted to get off the chest now to convey that to the architects?
No, I didn't. I feel like everything's been pretty upfront, like and good so far. Yeah, there's been nothing. I think that they've taken direction as we've gone through on the little areas that or they've given us a lot of good options and we've kind of moved forward with the best options. And yeah, I feel like we're gonna end up with good plans to have for the next stage. So,
Do you all spend any time reviewing the plans that you'd like me to log in kind of?
I have not had a chance, not since the last.
I never emailed you the time that I was. Maybe a couple of hours.
Have to put a date down.
Yeah, put it today.
Sure.
Today?
Today.
Some of them was out the other day.
They're not gonna call you and check.
Oh, I see.
All right, that sounds good. And then Mark or Bruce, if you want to report any kind.
I don't have that version.
Just an hour ago.
Now, okay, what date should I put down for that?
February first.
February 1st. Right, okay. And Cheryl and Nancy, I would have to use. Cheryl, I guess, well, good, okay. So our contract with the architect runs through March 31st, so let's keep that in mind. Is that sort of like our end date for getting any last comments from on the designs? And I know that, so the actual grant itself ends in June, the end of June. So we have a little bit of time. I don't want to run right up to the wire because there's closeout and paperwork and red tape that has to get sorted at the end. We do have a little bit of time to get through some stuff. And we are very close. We've gotten most of the deliverables ticked off. It's really just the tank and the design is here. So that's all really good and encouraging. I know, Kelly, you're going to be vacating the position. And so, as you know, there's like little red tape things you have to press in gears with every time. And it's a headache for everybody. And I'm sorry for that. I want to make sure we have a smooth transition to whoever takes the position in the select board chair, that we get them into gears so that we can, and then I can support them in actually getting stuff through the system. I just don't want to end up in a situation where, because of the change of the select board chair, payments to the town are delayed. Yeah. So let's make sure that I will certainly be reaching out to you and to Cheryl when that time gets closer to make sure we can get any.
Because following week after town meeting on Monday is the select board meeting. That's when they reorganize. That's the point, the next chair.
Yeah.
So I'll let you know Tuesday.
Yeah.
Um,
Sounds good.
Oh,
Former.
So that's what I have for the town hall project. Did anybody have any questions or concerns for me?
no, this is great. Thank you for all your help too with gears.
Yeah.
I can't believe how weird I'm like, I'm going in like, it's not working, it's not working.
You got in there.
It looks like everything's smooth right now.
It's very stressful system.
Yeah, it was just funny. I'm like, I'm going in here, I'm not saying, I'm like, I did different gears. I'm like, oh yeah, I remember. With the new gears, like I got a new setup, but I never logged in. It was done remote, like by somebody else setting it up. And I was like, that's why,
Right.
yeah, that's why I was like, I didn't save my, like the other one saved my login. I would save my login.
It's like, I was in years,
Yeah.
years, a long time ago, and I'm sure I can access it now, but.
Yeah.
It's nice. Yeah. It's a very
Very
stressful.
in there, and now I saw, I have a landing page, I can see what I'm supposed to see. The first day I went in, I'm like, it's not there.
But it's complicated enough when there was just one gears and yeah, there's two gears and it's just,
Yeah.
which gears is the long, yeah. Okay, so that sounds good. We did want to add a note about what, commercial spending for virus.
Yes.
So that grant, as I understand it, will come through USDA. I don't know if the town has worked on USDA grants before. We're currently helping Rochester, the one that they got from high school.
Yeah.
He has a lot of paperwork, red tape, and there's no clear guidance manual at all. Like I have to say that it's one of the least transparent grant programs that have ever come in contact.
Yeah.
So I want everyone to be aware of that and to know that there is technical assistance and I will help you navigate that process. We don't know if Two Rivers has capacity to do that right now, so if you want me to ask, I can.
Please do, yeah,
I'll speak with Peter and see.
Yeah.
How he's feeling about our work on it.
Yeah.
There are also other contractors here out there who do this work regularly who could assist,
Okay.
so. I think even if Two Rivers isn't available, we could refer you on. I just want you all to be aware that the heavy lift is really significant.
You went through the USDA grants program for the renovations.
oh, you did,
To this. So I know the process. We had a fantastic lady from USDA in Montpelier. I know they're no longer there, but anyway, she was absolutely wonderful. And, yeah,
okay.
so she walked us through it.
Do you feel,
Use Two Rivers.
do you feel good about doing it?
I can do it. I just have to be appointed that
Okay.
contact, that senior level. Yeah. Contact for that.
Yep, if you feel good about that one.
I wish you luck with that. So I will not speak to my director, but just assume it. So we're gonna handle that. Okay.
Yeah.
I'll take your lead on
it. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
If that changes, let us know.
Okay.
Also be aware for this project, as far as I know, there has not been any environmental review that's required for meeting clearance for this project. As far as I know, that's the last time I checked in with the town about it. It was just sort of a rough cost estimate for the actual construction work, not all of the, brownfield and wetland surveys and endangered species, all the rest of that's in any review that costs. So I just want to flag that for the town, make sure you're aware of that, and also to know that none of that money can start flowing until all of that work gets done. And that's something to work with USDA.
Yeah,
to figure out exactly what they're gonna ask you.
Okay, that sounds good.
Yeah.
Awesome. Thank you, Sarah. Yeah, thank you so much.
Yeah, no, you're sure.
Sorry for the delay.
Exactly. Thank you so much.
All right, let's take a look at our agenda next up.
Yeah.
The town hazard mitigation plan. I know we have to move forward with adopting
I
that.
don't think it has to be
You
done
know,
until
we
after.
just have to,
We just have to review it.
it's already been reviewed. We just have to sign off that we're adopting it
Yep.
tonight.
Okay.
Then I will scan that, send it to Kyle, and he will then send it up to emergency management for them to forward to FEMA.
And I need to make a motion to do that, right?
Yeah,
Okay, I'm gonna make a motion to adopt the certificate of adoption for the Granville Vermont 2026 local hazard mitigation plan.
I'll second your motion.
Okay, all those in favor?
I,
All right, so so moved. We will go ahead and sign this. Thank you, Sarah. Nice to- Okay. I will. And this. That'll go in, Bill. This 9th day.
yep.
February.
February.
25th. There you go. All right. And this we're not signing yet, but you did make a motion so that if we move forward with that contract, we can come in and submit what's needed. Great. And I just wanted to quickly make a motion to accept the select board FEMA orders.
Second your motion.
All in favor?
I,
Okay, so those are extended. I realized we signed up, we didn't. Motion to the, okay, next up, town meeting report, refreshments and setup.
D&D.
I don't want to.
Oh, yeah.
Do that.
Do we have the minutes?
Oh, shoot.
I don't have the minutes.
You will see D on the agenda too, or is mine?
What's that? Sandy?
See.
Oh, we already, she's gone, so we're okay with the tax sales and all that, so. We don't have an update because she's in process of notifying people. So we don't have an update on those, and then, yeah.
Yeah, she's waiting for, the attorney to approve the letter, proposed letter.
Yeah, and that's the letter. She's going to be sending a letter out proposing a payment plan to delinquent taxpayers. And should they accept that payment plan, then we will move forward with the payment plan. If we do not hear back from them, then we can move to the point of proposing tax sale or something. We were advised by the town attorney not to go to that level yet until we have, aside from the one property that we've already committed to requesting, we're gonna be working on moving forward, if I felt that. The timeline for that is May, to do the one big one and any other that might be in the list. That's the 5, I think we have five properties. Thank you. Thank you.
That's. There's a link of tax list anyway. It's not dead, is it?
I know I think some of them, but
Pretty substantial. The side that's not nice.
still pay someone, was that as high as it was, or is it higher?
What, the delinquent taxes?
Chicken.
It's that's only 1 year. So it's
33,000.
34,000, yeah.
That's why.
I don't. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, you want to review this really quick? The town meeting report refreshments and setup report,
The report is being printed, should be here. In another couple of weeks.
Okay.
For me to prepare to mail out.
to mail, okay,
Refreshments, I'm asking everybody to bring something light to share.
okay.
And then set up, you just want the chairs in the middle of the room like we normally do.
Yeah, I think that works great. There's plenty of seating for everybody. I feel like it's been fine. Yeah, it's a good setup. Nice cozy setup.
Yep.
Um,
How much is that, how much time does that town report have to get to the voters?
10 days.
Just 10 days.
Yep.
It was the
Um,
warning they had to be out early, right?
That I posted the warning already, that had to be posted
Right.
no later than February 1st.
Right.
That's why there was that time crunch.
Right.
So we have it on the website throughout the town. If we were not gonna mail the town reports to people before town meeting, the warning would have had to have been printed as a legal ad in the newspaper. But because we're gonna meet that 10-day requirement, we find that.
Want to say that letter?
Make a motion to approve the minutes from January 12th.
I second that. All in favor?
Like,
Aye. So moved, the minutes are approved. All right, so refreshments and setup, I think that sounds fine. Should we post on Front Porch Forum, request for people to bring refreshments to share with everybody?
Would
that be fine?
Like I did last year, I put a thing on the front
Okay,
of the town report and it seemed to work.
okay,
We had quite a bit
okay,
that was brought in.
I think that's good. I was thinking about just giving a reminder on Front Porch Forum for people to come. You know,
that's,
sometimes people get the booklet and they just set it aside, you know, not, I don't, I read it, but some people set it aside, and so if they don't read it and they don't look in there,
That's a
then
copy situation. Here,
Um,
I'll bring the box in.
yeah, bring in a box, because I think
I got some on
Yeah.
sale lately, so I'll bring the box.
birthday parties, I think they.
Good.
Yeah.
Use it.
we should do something to entice the fun from the show up meeting, some of these positions that.
yeah. Well, I was
They
thinking
don't
about
know.
posting it on Front Porch Forum, the openings too, like all the.
Yeah, we did
All
that.
the things I draw.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so I think that would be helpful, to
Yeah.
have people know. You know anybody who's gonna run, are you gonna run for?
I can't.
No, I'm.
Oh, sure. She can't either unless the new town rep going, right?
Don't do all.
She can do it.
Do all.
Yeah,
Yeah.
She can be cool.
You got to be from.
What else do you do? What else are you doing, Cheryl?
Right.
You're here last time.
And I'm here on the third time.
Okay,
Where they sweep the floor.
Orca's ready. Orca's gonna be here to record the town meeting and then post it.
Yeah.
And I think we can link our, on our, web or our,
Yep,
thing.
Carolyn does that. Yep.
And then we can put a link also on our YouTube channel. So we can do that too, link it out so that people can, like, if they go to YouTube channel, like, do that.
Yeah.
I was gonna ask if, it would be helpful to have a technology liaison in the future for the town. Somebody who can manage the YouTube channel. I'm wondering, because we've got a couple of things going on that, you know. Or are you gonna be okay with doing that?
I can't.
I'll show you how to do it. Yeah. Well, I need to give you the Gmail account and all that too, so.
Right.
I'll hand that over to you.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, because right now I'm comfortable with WebEx.
WebEx,
I
yeah.
just don't know how to do the,
Yeah.
given Maryland and the link and all that.
Will, I think we need to put the, to continue WebEx, we need to put the town debit card on there. And just a couple of other things. So maybe we can set some time to go through, sit down together and go through all that.
Okay,
That would be good.
yep, okay.
I'm thinking, I know that you don't come in on a Friday, and it's not
Right.
open, but would you be available on a Friday?
Yep,
Okay, so then the office is closed and we could just have like a good hour to go through all that
Right.
stuff.
right,
Friday I can work from home, so I can come down for an hour
okay.
or so, you know, I can break away. I finally have a boss. I haven't had a boss for 3 months at my new job.
Oh, wow.
And we lost our chef and we lost all these people. It's because it's the off season and this is when they like turned it over and I didn't realize they were turning all those positions, so I had to do with hiring everybody, so we still had time, but I will be working from home on Fridays.
Can you hear the noise?
It was.
For 3 months, anyway.
That was today, my boss started, and it's like, I'm leaving, go to my.
That your boss?
Penny's one of my bosses, it's amazing, but, yes, Technic's been reporting, yeah, I've been reporting to the beaches and Bob. And so I have a weekly meeting with them to do everything, and now like there's a GM do that, so. They have a GM. Yes, yeah, and so we've hired a good person to do that, but they're wonderful to work with, it's just a lot of work, because a lot of changes to get ready. Anyway, it is what it is.
Okay.
Um,
And we can have Nancy in on that too,
on Fridays, yeah,
because I don't have access to the debit
debit
card.
card, yeah. Yeah, I'll send you both a note to see what we can line up for both of you over the next few weeks
Okay,
on a Friday, and we'll just make the time. It's like, you know, whatever works for both of you. I can come as early as 10 AM, I can be here at 3 PM, whatever. You know, we'll see what we can work out. Okay, rabies clinic,
$25 a shot.
it's $25 a shot?
Yeah.
Okay,
And it looks like I'm gonna have Granville and Hancock come quicks down there, but it looks like Rochester can't make it again. That's fine.
Seems 1 year.
No, 2, 3.
3 years.
3. Yeah, I'm just years now, yeah.
unless you're a puppy and then.
Then it's-
yeah, maybe we're,
What they put in last year, then I'll.
Oh, you're good, yeah, if you're good, sure. Yeah. Unless you wanna come down yourself. For a couple days. Yeah, right.
I've had mine.
I've had mine, but it's years ago. Really hasn't had hers yet, though, so.
well, if I had my rabies, I don't think I can do it. I took this dog, I cannot go get a dog and not keep the dog. So
Well,
I can't. I've got her. She's my dog. Yeah. Yeah, she's got all of her stuff, so she got all her shots when she was down with Roy. And then they were gonna build the town, and I said, I'm gonna pay for it, so I paid for everything, and then they have her on my vet record now, and now she's at my house, and she's lovely. And so I can't do it, like, I literally will save every dog, like, I thought about it, and I told Jesse, I was like, I was gonna do animal control, but I don't think I can, because I can't,
Well, there's really not that many dogs you have in this year.
I know.
As far as strict. Yeah,
That's right,
Yeah.
but I would,
that typically we don't.
Yeah.
That's just the gateway.
I know, I would have
Should be
to.
driving around town, looking at
I would-
dogs in her station.
I-
when I get-
Well,
Never get a missing dogs, we find out she's got.
no, like she's wonderful. She's so sweet.
Yeah.
She is a sweetie, like she's so good.
Oh, good.
Yeah. And she's a beagle, so she's a beagle pit bull. And we were like
Interesting.
assessing like what she is, and it's like a beagle, and it's really cute.
One of my dogs said that. But I lost it several years ago, who knows?
Maybe the father. Okay, so it says approved tax map maintenance contract.
Yeah, there should be another thing there for you. So I.
Or something. I don't have another agreement here. You don't think I have anything else for signature? Here. Did I pull something else? Nope, I have that. I have the balance sheet. I have. I don't have another contract.
Was in the bowl.
It's not in the folder.
And then get stuck in with the
Talking about
payment
summer,
number.
might be stuck in.
Here for the blue Warren diagram.
There you go. I saw a blue tag.
I have a
Yeah.
blue tag, but the blue tag is for this, weight. It's, weight handle. So here's the blue tag. And this is for the ground penetrating, and I have the purple, which is the certificate of adoption. I don't have another tagged document to sign. I'm sorry, you don't see it out anywhere else, and it's not struck in the paperwork. That's the only other thing that was in there. You did anything?
I got payment order.
No, you
I
haven't.
don't know that.
You can get that back, it's not stuck in that payment order. So no one was there, but I'll see the. I did it.
Okay, so we'll check again for you.
Yeah, here,
Okay, but-
let's look and see. You take your eyes on it.
That's right. just
You
like
can
that.
say anything else. I think I only have two things with a signature.
It's stuck together. I know Sheriff's Department used to have, paperwork got served and something gets stuck to one another, so they stopped using paper clips because they kept getting stuck in wrong places.
Yeah. No, I don't.
What's the purple thing? Oh,
That's
The
when. it's
purple
wrong.
one we signed, that's for the,
It's really on the other side, so I can see anyone else. She doesn't have any signatures on it.
we're not gonna sign it.
Oh, that
until
was
they
the other
agree.
one.
Yeah,
You're right.
we made a motion
was the
to
one.
accept it, should they get,
That's the ground penetrating one,
yeah, approved, in SAM.
Not that-
.gov.
I didn't see nothing either, so 3 eyes, or at least 2 eyes on it. 2 sets.
That's all right. And.
Well, they put it on the computer.
Print it off again.
And fly it.
And thank you very much for
Sheriff's
doing your
All on my
Great.
computer.
tax map maintenance proposal. Cartographic Associates Incorporated.
Yeah, how often do they do that?
They do it every year,
Oh, really?
and yet. Very important for listing that attorneys and everyone else that do that.
Is this what,
Put names on that, Cheryl?
Yes, they do, they put last name
on lots? For
on the,
lots?
on the lots, yep.
Where does this information go? Is that why you can go on Zillow and see like the outlines of lots? I mean,
Yep,
Yep.
yep, and the link is actually right behind you.
Oh, great.
along with the information book.
okay,
Go on the 911 maps too, you can see all that stuff.
yeah, great. And it has all the property lines. Exactly that.
Google shows you that now.
We got weird, you wanna read on it? Got weird property lines over by us, like
Oh, yeah.
our, like it goes halfway through the bush and like, we have like this much space after that page, a little area that we farm in, our little farm zone. This much, and then it goes way back over. So it's like if you stand there, you can like kind of go like this, and we literally went like this far from the park. We didn't realize it. We got this far from the property line with our little garden.
Yeah.
And we're like, oh my God, it's right there. It's like right there. So like we have more space as you move back, you know, your corner, it's like thin, and then as you go back, it like goes.
I know how that is, mine's kind of funny, it's got kind of straight one way, but then goes up and angles and, oh. So I got 2.25 acres, but, or 2.4 acres, I guess.
And this is $1,300. Are we budgeted for this?
Yes.
We have it in the budget to do
Yeah.
this?
Yep, we do.
You right. After enacting it.
Okay. Oh my God, you're like, where is it?
I know he's carrying.
I will
sell it.
Scorpion Jeep park, thinking of somewhere in there.
Yeah, it's right there.
Sounds like my dad, you can never find your spawners usually.
Have a good night, everybody.
Goodbye. Have a good night. Drive safe out there.
Yeah, thank you.
It's a little hairy.
Tomorrow night's gonna be interesting. Though.
Yeah, I'm gonna get, yeah, it is gonna be interesting. Okay. So,
At least it warmed up enough today for the salt to start working.
okay, I make a motion to sign this to move
Second
forward.
your motion,
All in favor?
Captain.
All right. I will. Let's see. So this is, it's got by and title. On by, do I print my name?
Yes.
So I sign at the top. I print.
And it's like old sword. Sure.
And then sign the second line. Whiteboard. All right.
Former fire chief said that it's a town clerk or the fire department, you chief.
I don't.
No, that's like, okay, I don't know what he means by that, but.
So, governor appoints justice of the peace.
Yep, we had a vacant position for Robin.
Okay.
The governor was recently appointed Daniel as our
Okay.
justice of the peace until the November,
I don't know, it's select board member, select board.
until the November, midterm election.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
I think that's me.
Then that's your band.
Okay.
Yeah.
We're not gonna ask you.
Oh,
yeah.
Right after the other meetings.
Yeah, thanks for coming.
Okay,
Yeah. We'll see you at town meeting.
I'll be there.
Yeah, what office were you electing me to this year?
I'll be there. I'll be at the fire.
Yeah, I think when we get something, we'll circulating a little, sign up or like a 2 day, thing like that, but I
Yeah.
think that it's a good thing for us
That'd be a good idea.
to do ahead of town meeting, so if we can do it in like 2 weeks time or something.
Yeah.
We should have it over at the bowl, like a going station.
That's not ours.
I'm gonna be in Godwin last weekend when it was 0 degrees and blowing like stink. There were all these people out there.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's so interesting, Blake for that.
Oh, it is.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, we got to be nuts, but in a kayak on a hot summer day.
Yeah. In a little
I
thing.
know you, who you might not will see, so I'm glad you made it back.
All right, you guys, have fun.
Thank you, Bruce.
All right.
Constable update.
So my critical thing, I don't know if Kenny wasn't there, I just thought of my
Yeah.
camera system and the improvement. Called the company up. Obviously. $1,000 more just to fix it, if to fix it, they don't have parts, no, they probably can't fix it. So it's to a point where I'm gonna have to replace. They do have a 5-year plan,
Mhm.
the thing is $9,000.
I think we need to,
So-
this is where I think we're like at capacity on the budget, so.
Here's the problem, we run into. I don't feel comfortable patrolling without a working video system.
Yeah,
So it's gotta be replaced.
yeah,
Um,
but we, like, the town does not have any funds, and like, we're not even gonna be able to.
well, right now,
We're
it's,
gonna go-
well, I think there's like $800 left in the budget. My budget.
Is there any money available so where you could somebody could buy you one,
Wouldn't that be nice? I don't know.
Mhm.
grant money or anything.
Well, that's
We
what
go and kick it around
probably
and give
the
you-
problem run into is, well, most everything out there is probably obsolete
Mhm.
that they might have.
How,
And the other being, the thing is, the system I'm looking at, of course, I did look at some other systems that were cheaper. This unit here will link with what some of my existing equipment, so like my body cameras, for instance, I don't have to replace those. If I go with another system, I have to spend more money, buy a separate body camera. Another body camera.
Mhm.
I don't, I mean, I wasn't planned, obviously, if I thought I was gonna have to replace this right off, I would have tried to budget for it.
Mhm.
And not like that, I'm actually shocked as it is, but I wish I can do about that.
what's happened to it?
So it keeps on recording, won't stop. So it's, and it doesn't link to my body camera anymore.
Can we,
Supposed to.
is it possible to get like multiple quotes? on
Here, like I said,
different-
here's the problem. If I go with a different unit, it won't connect to my existing systems. So I'd have to replace more stuff. I'd have to replace even more stuff, which wouldn't be cost effective.
No, but that's what I'm wondering, are there any systems? I think a lot of it is it's not,
This is the only system that'll combine with what I got, basically.
And this is the only people that you've had look at it that can fix it.
yeah.
That's
Some
that's
proposals, we
strictly
should
by the
get like at least 3 things, even
Well-
if they're bad, you know what I mean, but.
like I said, the problem with this is there's only one company that's gonna blend with what I currently have.
Yeah.
So either you replace the whole system, I
Mhm.
mean, well, you're actually replacing most of the system as it is. But you'd have to spend more money.
It seems like a high price. I mean, and I'm not gonna discount this, but I'm wondering, is there another system out there that even if you've got new technology would be less expensive? Because now there's a lot of less expensive technologies that do this.
Excuse me,
You said
Yes, Marilyn.
buy a new one.
I'll have a question when you let me in here. Let him finish. Or can I ask it now?
They
I
don't
do
have
have-
parts anymore.
You could,
What do you use?
go
I
ahead.
mean, how does the scanner help you do your job, say when you're sitting there waiting for a speeder to go by or something like that? Do you respond to calls on the scanner?
No, this has nothing to do with the scan.
this is the body camera.
This is the body camera
Oh,
shot,
what's
Who's your-
$9,000?
the camera system.
The camera
camera
system,
system
can't
is-
you wear a GoPro or something?
No. See, we have a body camera. This is a cruiser camera, which records the data, your location, your light activations, your radar speed. It connects all the stuff to one system.
I
So,
see, I
for
see.
instance, traffic court, or if it's whatever incident happens in front of my vehicle. Just to record
I
it
see.
and collect it.
I see.
And it also connects with the body camera. So
I
they act
couldn't
like
hear,
one
it was
unit.
choppy.
Gotcha.
The volume was choppy and I only heard bits and pieces of it. Okay, thank you.
The system I got's more than 10 years old, I think, and it's obsolete, has been for several years. They don't.
Well, that's why I'm
Correct.
wondering if there's another platform, just because even like it seems like the technology is out now that there's new systems for cruiser
Did
and
you,
body camera.
did you review that, what comes with that system? That's one of your top, I wouldn't say top of the line, but there's
Yeah.
a lot that would compete to what that is.
Yeah, but for the price, I'm like, I don't know that we need top of the line. And I hate to say that because I want you to be
I
protected,
don't necessarily say it's top of the line, but
but
the other problem is,
if you were out every day, like
Right.
long hours, that would be
I
different.
just won't do any of it without a camera, put it that way.
Okay.
The thing is, by installing this particular system, I don't have to install as much because some of it integrates with what's currently there.
Yeah.
Well, whereas I'm installing it because I can't afford to have somebody install it.
Mhm.
And that's the other issue too.
You could have ran the line item in the budget.
Well, problem is I can't wait till next year.
No, you mean you can't wait until July?
Mhm.
And the camera system's crapping out now. So as it is, I'm gonna have to, I don't know what, count on something else and hope it'll work. What happens now is if it start recording and I have to take and unplug it, so it'll stop.
I'm I think the thing is, I mean, it is payments over several years.
It's a 5-year payment plan.
It is, but I'm not comfortable committing to a 5-year payment plan for the technology and to pay this much when we don't have another option. I would like to research options that are less expensive that will do the same work. And that comes down to it too. I mean, we're not a heavily funded department with a lot of money.
The other problem you'll run into is other units will want it all at once, all the money at once. They don't do a budget plans. One other one I looked at was $3,000, did not include a body camera, won't integrate with any of my current systems.
Mhm.
So in a sense, I'd have to even buy more stuff because it won't integrate.
Yeah,
So it's not gonna save us that much money for getting less service.
yeah.
You might want to hold off until after town meeting, though, because
Well,
there could be some discussion in town meeting about constable from what I hear.
yeah, that's good. So
Well,
I'll have to stop patrolling until that's all there is to it. So I'll have that back.
okay, yeah, I just.
Because I'm not gonna be myself in danger
Understood.
liability wise
Yeah,
for me and the town, because nothing's being recorded properly.
yeah, and I don't want you to, like, that is not at all the
Yeah.
outcome here, Mark. I want to make sure
At
that,
the top of the line available,
yeah,
it's right up there. Obviously,
Yeah.
there's some stuff cheaper, but that's what you're gonna get.
yeah, but that's fine, and but I think more than anything, I just would like to see, like, anything that we go out to bid on, like 3 bids or 3 options or multiple
You're not
options, so we
comparing
know.
apples to apples, though.
Yeah.
There's not another system like this one out there that does everything that this does,
Yeah.
stuff that this does. And like I
But
s-
do we need all of that as part of it too? Like, that's what I'm wondering too, if we had a good system with,
Yeah, a
dash
GoPro
cam?
doesn't work.
I'm not saying go for it. I'm saying, like, is there something that's more of a midline that's, because now that's just, all of those technologies that used to be $10,000 are now like $150 because they're just so mass.
There's not a system that'll go in the cruiser for 2 or 3 that I've looked at for less than 4,000.
Okay,
And now we're talking. Now I've got to completely take everything out of my vehicle and start from scratch.
okay,
These systems here, I'm familiar with, I know how they work.
Yeah.
And they're dependable.
I
Yeah.
wonder if there's somebody that can crack it open and say, oh, you don't need a bunch of parts for it, you just need a little
The
relay.
part that's problem is it's a mirror.
Yeah.
Okay, it's all electronic,
mhm,
so there's not much working parts in there.
yeah. Right.
So circuit boards shop, okay, I can't replace the circuit board, they don't make the parts.
Yeah, I don't think it's a matter of replacing or fixing what we have. I think it's more a matter of, like, if there's, I want to kind of understand more. I feel like that's a really high price for technology that I haven't been integrated in this technology.
Well,
but-
hold off, but I will be doing less traffic stops, I'll be running the roads. That's all I get video that's working properly, I don't feel.
You don't, yeah, I don't want you to put yourself in harm's way at all.
Liability.
Any speeders?
I cut some, what's that?
Have we been getting many speeders?
I cut some last
Pete,
month.
Yeah, you were down there.
Went up there by the firehouse the other
Yeah,
2 weeks ago. I guess.
he was there when it was really snowing. People were speeding past.
Yeah.
They were flying past, going like
Yeah.
60.
I know,
Last weekend, I didn't catch many speeders because I was tied up with that shooting, so,
How-
but anyway,
Were you down there?
so.
I mean, I'm just saying.
Are they?
No,
I'm sorry, you're not gonna ask
Have some
questions.
money coming.
Yeah.
Oh, yes, I know, but it's not. It's not all about,
Revenue.
yeah, that helps. I mean, there was $1,000 that came in so far this year I saw, so. Is that earmarked or something? That's excess
Could
money.
be. We could
Is
put
that
it back
excess,
in.
is that excess money? Is it something that's budgeted for? That's extra income, isn't it?
It should be, but we don't have 9,000. Well, part of it too is I'm not comfortable with committing to that. Because I don't know that for 5 years we're going to stop that need, I don't want to make a sentence for future budgets. So I would say if we're gonna get something, I'd be more comfortable with a one-time expense, and that's not a great idea.
It's not in
but
the
it's a
budget.
big expense. It's not in the budget,
And I gotta have it.
but it's not in the budget for 5 years either, so that's part of it.
Well, it
So-
could, no, it could be. I mean, my budget is $2,500 a year.
But what if future budgets are shot down and the town has a committed expense? That's what I'm saying. I don't want to commit an expense.
I'm fine, that's enough, because, that's it, I'm done.
Okay, well,
It's election year too, so. Things can change. All right, So be it, and I'll be gone the end of the month for a couple days for training. I think I mentioned it last time. State's gonna come, we're gonna have to redo the whole thing for the state computer system. I guess again, they may come down to inspect my office to make sure it meets their requirements.
Okay.
Because it's been almost 2 years, I guess, so. Now they wanna start me over again, so go figure. So that's probably gonna happen the end of this month.
Okay.
But now,
Well, thank you. And I just hope that you understand it's not it's not it's, you know, I want you to be safe and I want you to have something that works. It's just a lot of money.
I never asked the town for anything that's not necessary. Never have.
I know.
All right, very well. That's all I have for you.
Thank you. Right. Maryland website update.
Hello.
Mark.
Hi, yeah, I thought you had the Granville Fire Department update. You already
75th
talked-
anniversary.
Okay,
We already
Oh.
talked, and I think that talk about that when we have our open house.
oh, okay. So I had two things on there, the domain payment, which I already mentioned to Nancy, so that we don't have to talk about. It was like, I don't know, $35 or something. So we're good. Okay. And I continue to research this .gov domain. Okay. And I looked at all the information that Cheryl had given several months back about the state. That is involving some grant. I don't believe it's open yet, and where you get like they can do all the legwork for you and all that stuff. And I don't know if I want to get into all that because it's just, you know, how these grants go on forever. So I think it's something we can do. However, there are some requirements with it. I don't know if they require us to have an email service to support .gov emails. That's not free. You would have to pay for it. That I have to find out if we have to have .gov email. That would be separate than your hosting service. You've got to pay for an email service with .gov. CISA does not offer that, the whatever it is, cyber infrastructure security thing. They don't offer that. That's through Homeland Security. But we do have to be able to offer a secure email to log in and start the process, an ID and a social security number, which my personal information, I will not volunteer. So we can talk about that at some point. And we also need some kind of letter at some point requesting that. I know that your time is limited here, so this isn't going to happen in the next 2 weeks, so I wouldn't worry about it anyway. So we will, you know, I can keep working at this and check on that .gov email to see if we need a dedicated .gov email service, if we have to subscribe to something. If we do, of course, it's not going to happen this year because it's not in the budget. I also don't like to get into things that are just going to be this gift that keeps on giving, because then it's not a gift, right?
Yes.
So, you know, I got to look into that. I don't want to put the town in a predicament of getting into something that every year it's a little bit more, and then you get it a little bit more and a little bit more. And before you know it, you've got a $10,000 thing going on. Let's forget about that. So I'll look into those other issues, and then perhaps if we have this, what did you call it? A technology person before?
Yeah, like if we had, it's just something to think about. Like if we're in a position to need somebody to help us from a technological standpoint, because we don't have like an IT person.
Yeah,
So
I'm wondering
like
if whoever becomes that can be this. But I don't expect anyone to give their social security number. I don't think that's fair, but I think the Department of Homeland Security wants to know that they're not dealing with a terrorist creating a fake .gov account. You know, there's so many layers of, what do they call it? Multi-factor authentication.
Yeah.
So I've got a little ways to go on this, and I just want to let you know. Okay.
Okay. That sounds good. Yeah. I was only asking because I just was, you know, it's like, you know, this time of year you start saying, does the town need to have another like appointed position. I don't know, but it seemed like, it seems like we just keep having these like.
We
Does
don't need to have
town-
more people.
Does the town have a tax ID number?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah, yeah.
Yes. I
Yes.
don't, I heard Cheryl say something and I don't know if that was a yes or no. Yes?
You said
I
yes.
wonder if that can be used for identification. So say if it's the town clerk who is the point person behind the .gov domain, that perhaps they would allow the use of the town's tax ID number instead of a personal social security number. Something like that. So I can ask that question too. I don't need that tax ID number.
Yeah, that's a good question though, Marilyn.
Okay,
That
so
might.
I will keep at it and, keep updating. And it's, so boring, but sometimes boring is good.
So boring.
It is
Well, thank
it's
you
a
for
boring
your
topic.
tenacity.
It's a
Yeah, well,
boring
thank you for your
topic.
tenacity, Mom. I appreciate it. Yeah.
Okay. And that's all I
Funny.
have to say there. Okay, so we're good on the domain. Oh, one more thing. .gov CISA recommends that you keep your existing domain name or .org, whatever it is. Ours is .org. They recommend that you keep it active until you're all done with this. And that was another reason why I just went ahead and paid for it, because it's coming up and this wouldn't have happened by then. And now I see you really need to fall back on that. So that way, when you make your .gov domain live, you still have your original in case something goes wrong.
Yeah, I also think too, if you maintain in our case, a .org, it would be benefit to maintain it ongoing so somebody else doesn't pick it up and mimic the town.
Exactly. Or perhaps it can be just reserved for some other part of the town and we'll always have it. We can use it for some other sub website,
And when we have our Parks and Rec department.
Yeah. More money, yay. Well, that's all I have to say.
Thank you, Marilyn. We appreciate it. Thank you so much.
Okay. I'm going to sign off.
No.
Oh, wait.
I want public comment.
Oh, wait, public comments at the end.
Yeah.
Okay, I
Yeah, we
guess
will
we're
have-
not going to sign off. I'll be here.
Okay.
still.
Road Commissioner update.
Oh, nothing from the road commissioner, then I started looking at sand piling again. I'm keeping my fingers crossed.
They're digging into it like you said not to do.
They're digging into it like I told them, yeah.
Yeah, because it's gonna fall in on them. They're making a cave.
They're making a cave.
Yeah. There's, they're coming in from the side, so the whole front looks like a big pile, but we're looking from the side. It's like getting
Yeah, it was a flat face when I was down there
Yeah.
3 days ago, or whatever.
I just caught a weird glance on my way home today. I was like, oh, because it's usually dark when I get home, and I left a little early from work today, and I was like, oh, it looks like it's starting to get a little.
I'll go check it out. If it's bad enough, I'll make them bring the excavator down and chomp it down.
Yeah, it cleared the snow off of it because it's like still covered in snow. So if you go in front of it, it still looks like a big giant pile.
In the front.
But then you go in the back, you're like, oh my God, it's happening on. Yeah.
It's dangerous and some kid wanders out there.
Yeah.
I would have been the kid. When I was a kid.
Yeah.
I've been playing in the cave.
Okay, you would have been like,
Been the cave, man. Yeah. Yes. Not good. Like I said, I'll go look at it again, and if he needs to come down with the excavator and chomp it down when he can. Other than that, I'm glad we're in a big dry spell for snow and sand use.
so for tomorrow,
Hopefully it continues on for a few more days, couple inches of snow,
a little bit.
a little bit. So.
It's that evening and then overnight, so maybe Wednesday morning might be a little icky, but I don't think it's supposed to be too much. Squalls, little squalls.
Warmer, so.
Yeah, and then next Sunday, it's gonna be in the 30s.
Really?
Yeah, that might be a day that we can actually go outside and play in the snow. Instead of hiding away. Yeah, that's impressive.
So anyways, that's all I really have for you. I don't have anything else. I mean, the plowing job has been up to par.
Yeah,
Anything has been up to par.
we haven't heard any more.
You haven't had any complaints or anything.
I think that they were very, receptive the last time they came in and very proactive. I felt like that they want to do a good job.
I expected that it would take a little bit to get them up to speed doing it, because I'm glad they finally came up to speed.
Yeah, yeah.
I'm happy.
Yep.
The only thing I noticed that at the meeting, he wanted the daily logs and who was doing what.
Yeah.
They didn't turn those in.
They haven't.
Not a deal. I didn't see that either.
Yeah, so we could, maybe I can send a note in writing and say, hey, you guys, can you forward me the most recent, email? Do they email over the,
No, they usually
Drop
drop
it
it off in an envelope on
they
the
do.
way by in the morning.
okay,
Yeah,
so there's nothing to respond to, but we have their emails, so
yeah,
Yeah.
I do have their.
I think I can draft that, and make myself
Pretty good.
emailed.
Yeah, and also if they end up bringing an excavator down, they can load up their excess broken equipment and all that up too.
Yeah. Yep, it's a good idea.
But not necessarily in the way right now, other than for them.
Yeah.
But it shouldn't stay there for months on end either.
Agreed. Okay, public communications and comment.
Yeah, I have something, Sean, here.
Okay, hi,
How
Sean.
much- Hi, how much did Mark just ask for a body camera? How much was that?
It was to replace the body camera and have it integrate into the system in the car. It was $9,010.
Shouldn't that have been a line item on a budget in prior?
It-
Well, you know, it gets
it
me a little bit.
broke.
He was saying that
Well,
he was up to we were gonna get rid of him. And then all of a sudden, he asked for he's asking for $1,800, and now he's got a raise, and he's got his job back, and then all of a sudden now he's asking for $9,000 for a body cam, which he probably needs. Can he get surplus? I mean, it's not in any budget. It's,
yeah, no, I don't, the whole thing here is I don't think that, he came with a request. I mean, it's to replace the equipment that he says is now faulty because it's old. I don't believe it stopped working, or it's working sporadically, and he believes that's dangerous. Now, I think that, he stated that this is a request for top of the line items to integrate with what he currently has, and it's for a 5-year payment plan, which I don't think we can commit to. So I don't think that we can even approve that unless we have multiple options. And I do think that there's other products out there that would probably suffice.
I would think
for its
there'd be surplus items out there. And second, I recall him
Could be.
from last meeting or 2 meetings ago that he was saying he's only going to work 3 years. So
Yep.
just doesn't make sense on how he can just bring forth this, and then he gets a little angry and he goes, well, I'm not going to pull over cars anymore. It's he doesn't pull over cars anyhow.
Yeah, I think that there's, it is, I think that, I mean, Bruce has stated that there's some people who are gonna raise concern at town meetings, which I think that we took the line item off, but we did not approve an increase to his pay. He proposed it, but we did not approve that.
I thought that
My
I saw
understanding.
that on the budget, it said increase hours on his worksheet.
I didn't know we approved increasing the hours. I thought we took that off.
No, he increased his budget, I forget by how much.
And
But
you know
It
what
says
else?
increase in hours and hourly rate, $1,800.
And then, you know what I was
Yeah, but
thinking?
that said he couldn't do more than 4 hours a week, so we didn't do that. I don't recall that being the final.
Oh,
So I
I
think that's probably gonna get removed from the, but I think there's a chance that, but.
I also look at it like he puts in his monthly payments, hours, and he gets paid for gasoline and he's getting auto insurance. when you do your taxes, mileage covers car insurance and gasoline and all. He's getting double dipping on his payment for his auto insurance, which is now $700 a year, and his cell phone. I don't know. It's just ridiculous that he comes forward with $9,000 now. That I'm sure he knew something
I
about.
I do think it's something that needs to be. I think it's something that needs to be addressed. I'm in agreement, but I think for this, there's just not. We just don't have the budget for that, and we can't commit to a 5-year agreement. So I think even that, like, if there's not another option, then, you know, we're gonna have to figure that out, because if he refuses to do the work because he doesn't have that, and there's not, like, it's kind of a, you know, a no-win there.
Well, yeah.
We can't approve a $9,000.
What we have to do is sharpen our pencil and see if it makes more sense to hire a different entity to take care of our police
Yeah,
business.
Right.
at the same.
Does he have a
Yeah.
contract? Is there some job description? Because I remember a long time ago, one of the select board members, maybe 6, 7 years ago, had asked him to write a job description. I don't believe he ever did.
Maybe Jim Dig.
It could have been, but I can't remember. I don't want to name names and not be certain.
So, I mean, he's beholden to what the role is, and he's elected, so it's like hard to. Like, he knows what he needs to do, and there's things he needs to do, but there's really only like the townspeople can hold him accountable for doing those things. So I
Yeah.
think this is where the forum of town meeting,
Mhm.
you're coming, right, Marilyn?
Oh yeah. I wish you left that line item on there.
Oh, the article,
The article.
the article.
About it when we're
Yeah,
together.
yeah.
It's just about us tonight.
But how
That's-
could this, how does this work? I mean, would the people vote against his budget line items? And that's how, or they would say, no, we don't agree that it should be that high or something like that?
I think
Well-
they think that there's options of it. There's also, townspeople can, make them, like, you know, put forth, you know, a proposal to not fund, right? It's not a proposal, but they can say, like, we, you know, want to, you know, discuss not funding, and then we can put that out there, and we can make that motion and approve it at town meeting. So that's something that I think is
Good luck
what
on
Bruce
that.
was referencing.
It's too bad he doesn't submit a budget like, we know what his budget is by looking at all the budget line items, but he should propose his budget just like any other nonprofit or something like that. Like, this is how much this costs, this is how much this costs, and basically market his service to the town instead of getting elected and then, you know, I want the full ice cream sundae with the hot fudge and the cherry on top, you know. It should be like, you know, it should just be handled differently.
It's just like a kick in the head on $9,000 now, you know? That's sad.
He does.
He has an equipment budget, but this goes beyond that. And so this is where too, I mean, this is one of those things that, like, that we don't have to approve. And that's where, if we don't have a reasonable proposal to approve right now, it wasn't approved. And I think going forward, we just have to be diligent on making sure that I think a big thing is just, I mean, if we go out to take bids, we try to get multiple bids. A good rule of thumb with any type of a replacement of anything is getting 3 quotes, you know, and when we bought computers, we got 3 quotes, and we found the best deal with Best Buy, you know, so it's kind of one of those things where you want to get the best bang for your buck, so you're going to find the best place with the best deal for what you're purchasing. And in this case, he brought one forward, and he said it's top of the line and works with what he currently has. There's so many other technologies out there. I just ran like a quick search on here, and you can get like police body camera and cameras for your car to the level that would be sufficient for 4 hours a week of duty with it being traffic stops only for speeding. Do you know what I mean? And it would cover what's needed. for like $500. So I mean,
I was-
it might not be top of the line, it might not be perfect, but for 4 hours a week, it might be fine.
I remember Mike asking, can you work 4 hours a week? And he couldn't even commit to 4 hours a week.
Won't
It's-
commit to it. He says he'll make it up in different time, but he won't commit to being.
Well, the
available.
thing is, have you ever read his reports that he submits?
Yeah.
Yeah, I had a whole pile of them a few years ago, and there's a lot of fluff in there.
Training,
Yeah, looking at the computer, watching a
2
training,
hours to bring
a
the trailer over
tutorial.
to.
Yeah, and it's like it's not very specific duties. And I know it's a little late in the game now. The books have already been sent to the printer and all the warning articles. So it's a little late now, but it's too bad that that position just can't be very specific, that 4 hours a week of traffic detail. That's it.
I find it hard to believe that he just
You know,
figured this out with the camera.
And come to the select board, you want to move the trailer, put an extra hour in there for whatever, or 2 hours, and just say, no, you have to ask the select board at the meeting, next month I'm going to move the trailer. Can I add that hour in there? If he is an employee, he should be checking in instead of just, I'm a salaried employee, I can just look at my computer or go to a fair or go up
Yeah.
shopping to go buy a radio. I could go to the store and charge all the mileage to the town. It's like, no. It's just too much fluff.
But that's where it comes down to. That position as it is kind of unregulated aside from by townspeople. So I mean, if more people came to select board meetings and talk to him about it when he's here, I mean, they can ask him, and they can, do that. They can also vote him out when it comes time, and they can also talk about his funding at town meeting, which is, I think, the only real recourse right now, since we don't have that on the warning, which is fine. I mean, we can still have that conversation even if it's not warned.
I almost think if people will be afraid to do that, because then he'll target them and pull them over.
I don't know. He doesn't pull over many
Wow.
people, but
He did get
Yeah.
kicked out of the sheriff's services.
yeah, and
for,
it's like, it's amazing to me that we hire him as law enforcement when he was fired from his sheriff's position.
over
Yeah.
ruining trial.
Well,
Yeah, and a rapist was allowed to go, but the thing is, the other thing is, when we go to town meeting, someone inevitably will nominate him and someone inevitably will second. And if there is no one running against him, if he gets one vote, he's in.
Well, and I think that's what's happened in the past, because there has not been an option. And I think going forward, even without an option, does it make sense for us to go a different direction? And I think that the first step is defunding.
Yeah.
And I think that's what's going to come up at town meeting, is the defunding.
I almost think that he's, from what that, getting kicked out of the sheriff's services and what he did in the court system, he's almost a liability for the town.
Yeah, because someone could say he issues a citation, they could go to court and say,
Leave a cop over a juror.
yeah, they could use that and say that he was fired as a sheriff. It's kind of like if he had a Brady certificate, or a Brady, whatever they call it, when you lose all your credibility as law enforcement, because you've lost your job. But
That's where I think it's not. And I think that's where it's not our position to be able to control that. And but it is the townspeople's ability to control that. So I think this is where too, I would just advise that know that is going to be taken up at town meeting, and just to be part of that conversation, I think would be key. And that would be a good
vote for him. Like, he comes up for election. I can't remember what it looks like on the warning. But at what point, like, do they vote for him and then do that portion? No, the budget is after that vote. So he could be voted in and then we discuss the budget.
He's already in for, he's not up for re-election this year.
Oh, okay.
Oh, he is up for, yes, okay. Never mind, he is up for it, never mind. I don't know why I was
Yeah,
thinking he
That's
wasn't.
what whole conversation.
Yeah. That's right. Yeah, so he's up for reelection, which if people vote against him, there's not somebody else to vote for, but
Somebody could be nominated,
no, that's right.
you know, we do it from the floor.
Yep.
You know, all we need is the constable willing to be there to serve papers, give directions,
Yep.
you know.
So a
That's all.
first constable does
Yeah.
not necessarily have to be full-fledged law enforcement like Mark is. They could just be
Right.
just a constable. Okay.
We have to have a first constable.
I'd rather buy sand.
We need sand.
Probably comes at a lot cheaper price because then you don't have.
And you got a lot more for the bang for the buck.
Yeah.
Taser and training and a bulletproof vest and
Yeah.
probably just being a constable is a little.
I mean, when do we buy his, when do we start buying his vehicles for him? I'm being,
Hey,
He doesn't have a vehicle and nobody else provides it. That's the only thing is I don't think that there's a good outcome one way or another. We don't have a positive outcome.
it's,
We're not going to get increased coverage. We're not going to have more ticket revenue. No matter what, it's not going to happen. So I think that the bottom line is that's kind of why I can't be in this my last meeting, but I cannot approve that. I'm like, no,
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
good.
You know,
I'm glad.
and
I have a question for you, Kelly, and it's not necessarily public comment, so, you know, it's not like it needs to go in the minutes. Will you attend select board meetings in the future?
I may, yeah, I mean, I may, and I'm, you know, I think too, this year we may be in a position to have additional town meetings because we have some controversial topics that we're going through and I'll have to be the moderator. So there's a few things like that that I intend to still support, but I just don't want to be it creates way too much stress for me to be in this position with my neighbors. So I'll just be totally honest. I don't mind helping. I want to be helpful, but I don't want to be, I can't lose sleep anymore.
Yeah.
So.
Is Ken
Just
staying on?
because your expertise or your experience, and, you know, the way you phrase things is very good. And I think that, you know, it would be good to have you at some of the
Common sense.
meetings just to have comment and input. It would be good.
Well, I will thank you so much. I appreciate that. But yes, I still want to help in any way I can. And that's why I kind of said too, like, if there's other areas I can help in, I'm gonna do
And
that. I will still do green up. I'm committed to green up.
And don't ever get a rabies shot. Don't ever do that.
Not going to. Well, I can't, I cannot handle animals. Like, that's the thing. Like, it's the funniest thing with this dog. Like, she's so cute. She's so good. But she was biting me and it was like so much. And it doesn't matter how bad the dog is. I'll just be like, I gotta help that dog. You know, I wasn't sleeping. I was dreaming about her. I'm like, Jesse, we gotta do something for this dog. And like, I brought her in with the intention of fostering. And Jesse's like, when is she going? You know? And so it was that way for a while. And then this weekend I said, Jesse, she can't go. And he's like, I know. She's here. He's like, nowhere else is as good as here. I'm like, that's right. And so now it's final, like, foster fail. Like, I cannot give her up.
That's
She wouldn't
Christine
let us hurt her.
Gowdy's dog. Christine's dog. Well, that's good. That's good. She has a home.
She's so sweet. Like, she is a good girl. Her teeth are all ground down from like years of stress and anxiety and biting things.
Yeah.
So she's just chompy. And so then I realized she's just chompy. So we did get her she's on doggy Prozac and it's helping a lot. And it's not for me and it's not for her behavior. It's to make sure that she feels comfortable, calm, and it's helping her. She's so calm and she's so good with the cat now. And she's just really sweet.
I need some of that.
Yeah, doggy Prozac. You could probably get some from Roy Haddon, sorry.
Otto's taken to her.
What, oh, Otley, yes, Otley loves, they're so good, they're brother and sister. They run around the backyard together, and she's a ball player, and so it's like, she just loves her tennis ball, and so like, we just run, she just loves the tennis ball, she's so sweet. She's a good girl. And she's so cute, she's like a little bear.
I could tell you were gonna keep, when you were first talking about her. I knew you were a sucker.
Yeah, like, it makes me want to cry, she's so good, but I just can't, like, thinking about like her, like initially, like we took her in, I'm like, I can't let her get euthanized, like I can't, you know? And For Love of Dogs was so good about like pushing Roy to give her like that exam and give her shots, and so he did everything. And then they were kind of like, okay, who's gonna pay for this? And For Love of Dogs covered some of it, and then I went in and I just paid the, you know, it's like around $300 or something. It's like, I'm fine with that. And then it's great because then we can get her over on a regular basis. She's got a big lipoma on her chest. It's literally like this big. It kind of sticks out. But Roy said it was fine, but we want to make sure that if she needs to get that removed, get it removed for her. She hasn't been to a vet for a long.
Well, put it on the budget next year.
Yeah, that's my budget. That's my budget. Good. Okay,
Thank
I
you.
think we're all set. Okay,
Thank you for
I
all
guess the
you've
only-
done. Thank you for everything, Kelly. Thank you.
Thank you. Appreciate you guys.
I guess the only comment I had is I'm not planning on running for select board again, or my other office either, and
Okay,
that's my plan.
so is this your official notification
This is my notification.
that you will not be running?
There it is.
And not for roads either?
Thank you, Ken, for everything.
You're welcome.
Thank you for everything. It's been great working with you over the last year.
It takes a lot of my time.
It does.
It
Mhm.
takes
And
too
we'll
much of my time.
We'll miss your humor.
Yes.
Anyway, that's that.
Yes. Yeah, thank you for everything,
Um,
for your
Feels like-
many years. Yes. All right, motion to adjourn.
Second your motion.
All right, all in favor?
Aye.
All right, adjournment. At 8:45, 8:44. 8:44 PM. All right, thanks you guys. We'll see you later. Signing off.
All right.